Welcome to Dude No Way Live, where we embark on a quest to play the greatest games of all time. I'm your host, Moonchild of Dude No Way, and today we are yapping about Marvel Rivals. Got a bunch of things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about some of this stuff yesterday, but unfortunately I ended up playing the game and I was having so much fun that I kind of totally forgot that I wanted to do it, and I shut off the game after I was done with the show yesterday, and I had a bunch of things all pulled up and ready to roll, and I was like, oh, I guess I should have taken a moment and actually talked about that stuff. So here we go. So today we're going to be talking about that. I have nothing in general planned in terms of gameplay today. If we do end up playing some stuff, it's going to be just, you know, some casual for fun stuff. Maybe I'll jump into a few matches and play a little bit here and there. But in reality, the thing that I wanted to do today is just go over some stuff, some things that have been on my mind lately. So I thought it would be a cool show. I haven't done a yapping stream here in like a couple of weeks, so I think it was time. So I guess with that, let's just go ahead over to Chrome, and here we go. Let me just make sure that that did the thing that I wanted it to do. Yes, it looks like it did. All right, cool. Hanny, what's going on, man? What's going on, dude? How's life? How's your morning going? I'm gonna scratch my eye real quick, and then take a sip of this water before I start going. All right, so I saw this on Reddit, and I thought it was interesting, and I thought you guys might want to dive into this topic with me a little bit here, and just see, you know, just gather your thoughts, and in addition to that, you know, see what Reddit thinks, which is, you know, is never good, is always a dumpster fire, but I thought it was interesting enough to talk about. So it says, the most strategic character of them all, question mark. Hanny says, going all right. Thank God it's Friday. Amen, dude. Amen. Although, I always get sad on Friday because it means that the next 2 days I won't be streaming. But, you know, Fridays are always decent. The most strategic character of all time, question mark. The post says, by this, I don't mean the traditional strategist role. By this, I mean the most cerebral and strategic character. As in, success with them is decided by optimal play and decisions, all caps, decisions, rather than micro/pure skill. Basically, the type of hero that benefits the most from big picture decisions, and the one with abilities that decide the flow of combat. Something that doesn't require too much aim practice, but something that requires, as I said, optimal decisions. This guy said decisions like 8 times in this one tiny paragraph. And also, you've got a lot of prerequisites. I don't know. You like if this were a search, you would have all the filters turned on. You're like, all right, so I want you to have to be smart. You have to understand the game. I want it to determine the flow of combat, but it can't require aim. But it has to have optimal decision making. All caps. Optimal decision making. Right? Like, this guy's got a lot of stuff that he's asking for from a single character, and I have my own thoughts, which we'll talk about in a bit. However, what I really wanted to know is, what does Reddit think about this? Because you guys know Reddit. You know, what they think, A, is either going to be funny, or B, going to be very stupid. And maybe like 1 or 2 nuggets of truth will accidentally fall out of the Reddit butthole. You know what I mean? Hannibal says, Reddit is a hive of scum and villainy. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what it is. Flo says, what's up, Bronze Rankers? What's going on, Flo? It's good to see you, man. How's life? Are we eating dinner? Are you cooking right now? What are you making? Nick says, most strategic tank, I think, is Groot with placement and wall placement decisions. Could be. Could be. Nick, what's going on, man? Thanks for being here. Flo says, going out for dinner later. Hell yeah, where are you going? So what do you guys think? Like, so we've got Nick says Groot as far as tank goes. Most strategic tank, I think, is Groot with wall placement and decisions. And like, that's a good sentiment that I can definitely get behind. The wall placement and the building of walls on Groot is a very important part of his kit, and directly representative of how much damage blocked he has on a given match. Like, Groot can rack up the damage blocked pretty easily when it comes to placing your walls down in the right place and allowing them to absorb a lot of the damage that your team might be taking. Really good place, known for its high quality meat. Hell yeah. That's me on OnlyFans. I'm known for the same thing. Know what I mean? So that's good. Hannibal says it's Hawkeye. It might be Hawkeye. It very well may be Hawkeye. But he says it can't require too much aim, remember? It can't require too much aim practice, but it's got to determine the flow of combat. But it also needs to have optimal decisions. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's go ahead. Let's read through some of the comments. This is sure to be a shit show. And if it isn't, well then, I don't know Reddit as well as I thought I did. Now, this was only posted about an hour ago, but I saw it and I was like, no way. No way, dude. I can't wait to talk about this. All right, so somebody responded. They said, Magneto, your role is to enable the team. You decide who lives or dies with a bubble. You can allow ults to have value when they otherwise couldn't. Your shield can block ults. Your ult can absorb and kill half the cast ults and make the biggest playmaking potential by nuking a support. Magneto isn't aim intensive either, but he does good damage. The hardest thing to aim with him is his ult, because it's actually very direct. And is this the OP who posted? No, this is... Okay, so... This guy... I don't even know how to say that. We're just gonna call this guy McGee. Or 1. We'll call him 1, right? Somebody else responded underneath of this Magneto poster and said, I agree. His bubble is the most irreplaceably valuable thing in the game. Also... especially with the damage buff, he's now insane at executing supports. Wow. So that is certainly a take, right? Magneto is definitely a take. I don't know, man. I don't know about Magneto, dude. I mean, don't get me wrong. Giving a bubble to people is good. You know, throwing your shield up for people is good. That does require good decision making. And I'm going to say, you know, maybe he's not the most aim-intensive hero in the entire game. That is true. He does deal some splash damage, even if you don't hit them. Even if you shoot somebody next to the person you were trying to aim at, he can hurt other people a little bit with some splash damage. I don't know, bro. I think Magneto's a stretch, man. You do have to bubble certain people at certain times, and you can enable the team. That is true. You can give people the ability to get a lot of value out of their ults. All of that is true. His ultimate countering a lot of the cast's ults is a stretch for me as well. It's not that Magneto's ult can't do that. It's that it's breakable. So, like, when you use Magneto ult and you go up in the air and it starts absorbing projectiles, if the damage you absorb is too high, you just botch your own ult. You know? And, like, does that lead to the decision-making being more, being more important? Potentially. Does that mean he's more strategic? Maybe. I mean, I don't know, bro. If you've ever been a Magneto and the Punisher on the enemy team popped ult and you were like, oh, I'm gonna wreck this guy, dude. And you go up in the sky and you hold your arm up and you go to do the spirit bomb and then your spirit bomb breaks into pieces and he blows the shit out of you and your entire team. Like, it is the most disheartening feeling, you know? Because it's just too much damage. The same thing with Star-Lord Ultimate. A lot of times, like, you can absorb some of it, but a lot of times it's just too much damage. And then the Star-Lord, unlike the Punisher, like with the Punisher, if you press the button at the correct time, you can chuck the meteor down and kill the Punisher in his ultimate. That is possible. Although you have to press it very fast. With Star-Lord, Star-Lord's up in the sky, bro. So, like, if you use your Magneto ult to counter Star-Lord's ult, while you'll absorb a lot of the auto-aim from his damage, you are never, ever killing him. Ever. At least I don't think. Like, how many times have you hit a flying target with Magneto's ult? Now, I've played a decent amount of Magneto. Not the most. I'm not going to say, like, he's my main or anything like that. But I have never once used my meteor against a character in the sky. So, and, like, if I did, I missed. Because they're in the sky, and it's way harder to hit them. So, I don't know. Magneto's a stretch. Let's read what you guys think. Star says, I want to say Cloak and Dagger, but my experience is limited to mostly support. Star, thanks for commenting. You know I love you. Cloak and Dagger is a pretty decent one in my opinion. There is a little bit of cerebral play that you got to do with Cloak and Dagger. You know, knowing when to push forward, knowing when to disengage, who to heal, at what moment, where to place your AoE healing. You know, all of that. You know, that does come into play. ultimate, when you're using the ult is another thing. Like, the Magneto ultimate can kill Cloak and Dagger pretty easily, so you do have to think about where you're going to position your third and fourth dash so that you're either A, completely out of line of sight of Magneto, or B, in a place where you can realistically, like, dip out of the way, or force him to potentially hit one of your teammates and sacrifice your teammate. Listen, I'm not saying that you should sacrifice your teammate with Cloak and Dagger's ultimate, but if a Magneto on the other team pops ult, and you go behind one of your teammates and let them take the meteor for you, I also kind of think that's an okay way to save yourself and potentially the rest of your team, because if they absorb the damage of the meteor for you, you know, and then your team gets to stand in the Cloak and Dagger ultimate, get value out of it, keep themselves alive. I think that's pretty good. You know, you don't have to swim faster than the shark, just faster than your friend, right? So, yeah, I guess if you can bait out the damage from an ult and let it kill somebody else, and then you get to keep your ult alive while your team benefits from it, I guess that's kind of good. Let's see. It's actually Squirrel Girl. Oh, shit. Hannibal, you might be right. It might be Squirrel Girl. The most cerebral character in the game is the person who utilizes the smallest brains, you know? The Squirrel Girl, the whole playstyle boils down to, am I going to fire from really far away and hope for the best? Or am I going to get up into their face and hope for the best? You know, like, you gotta use it like a shotgun, or you gotta use it like a grenade launcher. So, while Squirrel Girl, I think, is a very strong character, and I think that her potential power is pretty high, her burst damage is very high, I don't know, man. There's not really that much that goes into the character overall, aside from, like, hey, do I boing or do I immobilize? Do I double boing or do I double immobilize? You know, like, Squirrel Girl is a funny suggestion. I think it's actually kind of perfect in terms of, like, troll suggestions. Like, that is the perfect thing for Hanny to say. Because Squirrel Girl is, like, luck-based when you play her at ranged, and then very dangerous if you play her in melee, but also, like, high risk, high reward. So potentially, yeah, I mean, there is some strategy behind her. I'm not gonna lie. When you said it originally, I was kind of trolling, thinking, like, yeah, okay, Squirrel Girl, right, definitely. But now that I'm considering it, there is a little bit of strategery that goes around her. Definitely not aim intensive, right? Because it doesn't require aim to bounce shit off a wall and watch it hit people that stumble into the line of fire, you know? If you're bouncing damage all around the payload or all around the choke point or the domination point, like, you're basically guaranteed to hit somebody at some point, right? There's no aim really required there. It's all about, like, how am I going to ricochet this? Like, with Squirrel Girl, you gotta know geometry. So, like, I'm gonna hit this one wall, it's gonna ricochet down here, and then it's gonna bounce back over here. You gotta understand your trajectories, you gotta understand geometry, how the wall is going to manipulate how your shot bounces and stuff like that. There is actually a bit of strategy around Squirrel Girl. I take it back. That was a decent suggestion. Flo says, he should play Cap. The strategy is in weaving in and out of the backline. Target priority while being positionally aware of when you line of sight their support, and he has very little aiming requirement. That is true. Captain America is actually a really strong pick for that. In terms of strategy, I don't know about strategy so much as it is get in the backline, be annoying, and then dip out before you die. But target priority is 100% true. And trying to keep yourself alive can be difficult, so there's some strategy around that, right? So, yeah, I could see that with Captain America. You know, his kick got buffed as well, so now he can raise his arm while he's jumping and protect himself from things with his shield, which is crazy. You know, he was already decent. He's much better now that he can block things while jumping at the same time. You know, they also buffed him so that he can walk and chew gum at the same time, which is, like, an excellent buff. It really helps his kit, I'm not gonna lie. Captain America is a decent pick there. I think that with Cap, when you go into the backline, I think that you have a set amount of time before everyone notices you, turns around, and kills you. And because you are a tank, you have like a longer window than if a DPS tried to do it, and a shorter window than if like a Jeff the Landshark tried to do it. You know what I mean? Where Jeff the Landshark can go in the backline and live forever and just be annoying and like pop up in places like, hey, I'm in the floor and now I'm behind your support line and I'm never going to kill anyone, but what I am going to do is make them turn around. You know? And Captain America kind of does the same thing, except he can actually kill people eventually, you know? And it's not that Jeff can't, it's just that he probably won't. With the amount of time that he spends going underground to heal himself, coming up to pop a little bubble for himself so that he can heal himself back up and get the speed boost, and then he's like going up the wall, and then he drops down from the ceiling, right? And then he sprays you like 3 or 4 times, and then he's back under the ground before he dies, right? And he's just weaving in and out of combat, and he's out of there, dude. And then he pops back up a few seconds later, and he's like still in the back line, still alive. Nobody's killed this fucking guy yet. How is he still going? You know, Jeff the Landshark has a lot of survivability and is very elusive. So, in terms of, like, backline characters, that is like, a stronger survivability option even than Captain America. But Cap really has to, when he dives into the backline, he has to adjust depending on how dangerous the situation is very quickly. Because he doesn't have a heal when his health gets low. Aside from, like, his ultimate, right? But I'm not counting an ultimate right now in terms of how strong he can be as a diver, because the ultimate is only up a very short amount of the time. So when you think about it, when Captain America goes into the backline, he has to rapidly assess who is going to be the thing that kills him before it becomes too dangerous for him to stay. You know what I mean? And so I think in that regard, you might be right in terms of cerebral type of play. You got to be fast on your feet. You got to be quick thinking, you know, and then you can target certain characters and burst them down decently fast, right? If nobody comes to support one of their healers, it's very likely as Captain America that you just punch them in the face a few times and then you hit them with the shield, like maybe once or twice, and then they die, right? They just fall over because you can't peel for somebody against the Captain America quick enough for him to be deterred to stop engaging with a low health or like a vulnerable support character. Like a Cloak and Dagger or like a Sue Storm or something like that is going to get wrecked in the backline by a Cap that is hard focusing them. But the Cap has to be, like, head on a swivel. Like, okay, who's coming out of spawn? Who's coming back from the front line to protect their support? Which DPS is up in the sky that could potentially kill me, and I don't realize I'm getting shot? I think Cap is actually a good one. Let's see. Nick says, with the Cloak and Dagger ult faster now, it's harder for Magneto to kill her in her ult. That is true. That is true. It happened to me one time since the Season 1.5 patch last Friday, so about a week now that we've been playing on this patch. I've only been killed by one Magneto since then, and I want to say I've played, I don't know, like 5 or 6 hours of Cloak and Dagger since then, so it's very unlikely, that Cap will have that Magneto will have the mechanical skill to be able to hit you during your 0.67 second pause between dashes. So, again, I don't know if Magneto's the pick there, you know? However, I could definitely see an argument made for Captain America. You don't have to be really that quick thinking as Magneto. Aside from, hey, I'm taking damage, I hold up shield. Or, hey, my teammate's going in, I put shield. You know, I put shield on them, right? Or that's pretty much it. Somebody popped ultimate, I press ultimate too. And then throw it at a support player. While that is thinking, is it a lot of thinking? Maybe for some people, you know? But probably, I'm going to say not for most. Nick says, the thing for the same reason as Cap, plus you need to have teammates close enough to get back to your team with your ability. Yeah, so when you go in with the thing, you can charge around, you can charge into their front line, or you can save your charge for your escape. However, the thing also has an ability where he jumps to an ally and gives both him and the ally a 30% damage reduction for a few seconds, which is actually pretty strong. So, with the thing, like, you can take your engagements pretty easily. You know, you can get up into the fight pretty easily. It's the getting out part that becomes scary, because once you stop sprinting, that sprint goes on a pretty long cooldown, and you gotta wait. So you gotta pick your engagement pretty well, or walk up to the fight and sprint away. And that is also, you know, something to consider. The thing is pretty durable, though. So when you consider, like, Thing versus Cap, I don't know, man. Like, I think Thing has more survivability than Captain America does, even though he doesn't have a shield. Just like his health is pretty high. His ability to get damage reduction is pretty good. When he charges, he becomes immune to crowd control, which Captain America doesn't have. He also gets a massive amount of bonus health for charging, which Captain America doesn't really have unless he's using his ultimate. The Thing's damage is also a lot higher than Cap's, and that's something to consider as well. Like, the Captain America primary fire hits pretty weak, and just to be sure that I'm not talking out my ass here, let's look at the Thing's primary fire. We have double strike, 40 damage per hit. So, double strike, 0.33 seconds between attacks. So it's like he hits every 1 second, but with 2 attacks, so it's 80 total damage, right? Every 80 total damage per 1 second. And then we look at Captain America, and Cap's is, let's just see, Cap's is, where are you? Maximum fly distance. Melee attack is 40, flying shield damage is 45. So, again, Cap hits basically 80 damage, so they're roughly equal in terms of primary fire, but the Thing has that hard-hitting right click, and the right click, when you charge it up, hits like a truck. It hits for 90 damage, and then it also gives him 50 bonus health when he presses the button, so that makes a big difference as well. The Thing is a really good character, really strong kit. The Thing also has a stun, which is something that Cap doesn't have. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about ultimates, but when you consider going in with the Thing, you have a direct way to stop people in front of you from damaging you back, and I think that makes a difference as well. Let's see, Flo says, I had a game where Jeff tried to do that, but we dealt with it by practically ignoring him and just pushing his team. That is exactly how you deal with a Jeff the Landshark in your backline, because he's probably not killing a lot of people. You know, he might be generating a decent amount of ult charge by going back there and keeping himself alive while he peppers your team with tickle damage, you know, while he sticks a finger in your team's armpit and then fucks off, you know, but he's probably not getting a lot of eliminations. And then he's going to use his ultimate to eat people and then jump off the map with them and hope that he gets a ton of value. I think that's the way that you play Jeff in the backline, basically. And then, like, the very cracked people with their aim being very good, they can get a few kills here and there. But again, a lot of your time in the backline as Jeff the Landshark is spent just staying alive. And if you don't have a third support on your team, like if you have one support and your other support is Jeff the Landshark who fucks off into Narnia just to run around and swim underneath the feet of the enemies and then occasionally bite their ankles, I think you lose just based on the fact that you don't have a second support actually healing your team. So if you don't have a third support to heal your team while Jeff is out there doing whatever, then I think you just lose the game and Jeff is a throw pick. But if you do have a third support, he can actually be pretty distracting and take people out of the fight for a decent amount of time while they try in vain to actually kill him and do absolutely nothing. And then their team dies because they weren't paying attention and needed to heal somebody in that amount of time. So, Nick says, good points on Cap, the Thing. I'll stick with Groot for the most strategic tank. I think Groot is a more strategic tank than the two of them. I think you're right, Nick, in that Groot's walls create a lot of forethought that you need to consider before actually engaging with a fight. Like with your damage walls, are you going to put them in front of people to absorb damage, or are you going to put them around where you're fighting to deal more damage? That comes into play, you know what I mean? With your Ironwood wall, are you going to throw it up and hope that the enemy team doesn't destroy it for a while so that you can gain the bonus health from it? Or are you going to use it to block line of sight because it's a bigger wall with more health than the damage walls? That gives you like some amount of strategy when you're going into engagements with Groot. Another thing that Groot has over some of the other tanks is that he has a ranged attack as well. So you can engage on people with a lot of melee burst damage, and then as they're running away, you can utilize your ranged attack to hit them and damage them. You can also use his ult with a lot of other ults to get a lot of value. Like Groot's ult, because it AoE roots everybody and pulls them into one spot, you can utilize that with an ult combo with pretty much any damage ult in the entire game, and you can watch the enemy team just like fall over like bowling pins, dude. So that gives you a lot of thinking with Groot. And also, like, Do you place your Ironwood wall away from the fight entirely, but close enough to you to where excuse me. Excuse me. Do you place your Ironwood wall away from the fight where the enemy won't shoot it, but close enough to you that you still get bonus health? And then, like, do you use that strategy to find a spot where it just won't get destroyed because it's so far out of the line of sight of the enemy team that they're just never going to think to shoot it, and then you just get to live for a much longer time because you're up there using your melees and your damage walls, and they might be shooting the damage walls, but as long as the Ironwood wall stays up and your primary firing people is Groot, you're just constantly generating bonus health on, like, this endless loop, almost like Mantis when she uses her abilities and she's constantly healing, you know? So, yeah, I think Groot is pretty strong there. Flo says, I forgot, did Cap's bash have an interrupting effect? No. The bash from Captain America does not interrupt anything, at least as far as I know. It is only for melee damage and for chaining the Sentinel, like the shield throw. You know what I mean? So when you say bash, I'm not sure if you're talking about like the charge, like the Liberty Rush. That is just a regular charge, deals 30 damage on a 10-second cooldown. The primary fire, the bash, it deals melee attacks, and then when you have the shield throw built up, you throw the shield, and that will hit that'll hit people up to I want to say it's like up to 4 people, right? I feel like it'll chain between multiple targets, but he does not have any kind of stun or anything like that. You got the Vibranium Energy Saw with which is the ranged attack that can ricochet. You have the Slam, which again is just damage used for movement, so that is also not going to affect it. You have the ultimate is like the main thing that would really keep you alive as Cap. I don't know. Like like if Captain America had a stun, would he be too OP? Like his movement is better than any tank in the game. He has by far the best movement because he can freely sprint and he can sprint forever. He can literally do this all day, right? But if he had a stun, would that take his kit too far over the edge of being OP? It depends on how long the stun cooldown is, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to refresh this page and just see if anybody else commented on this. No. Okay, so our second post is maybe Loki, Adam Warlock, or Groot. And, okay, so let's talk about Adam Warlock for a second. Adam Warlock's strategy revolves solely around where do I place my ultimate? You know, where do I resurrect people so that when they come back to life, they don't get instantly pushed into the dirt? Which there is a certain amount of strategy to that, but the main goal is to resurrect as many people as possible, so it also has to be kind of close to the fight. So you got to be like just close enough to be able to res people, but far enough away that the enemy team can't come in and press one ultimate and kill everybody that got rezzed all in one hit, you know? So I think with that being said, Adam Warlock has a little bit of strategy around him. Like, when do you charge your right-click damage and then peek out and unleash the right-click? The answer is right inside of the choke. That's right, dude. That's exactly where you press your Adam Warlock ultimate. Everybody goes down. You want to press your Adam Warlock ultimate as close to the enemy team as humanly possible so that you can absolutely guarantee that your team gets farmed. And then that way the enemy team will have another ultimate to counter you in the next fight. You know, and if you're not using Adam Warlock that way, what are you even doing, bro? Honestly. With Adam Warlock, he is kind of aim intensive though, because his primary fire is a hit scan, and it actually deals a pretty good amount of damage now that it got buffed here in the Season 1.5 patch, especially to the flying characters, who it's really easy for him to hit, because he just puts his crosshair over them and clicks, and the damage, you know, is enough to pressure the flying character either out of the sky or back to their enemy team after just a couple of shots. And potentially he can get a decent amount of kills with it as well. He's just a shit healer, you know? He's just like a, like in terms of the ability to sustain a team with the heals you put out, Adam Warlock is roughly equivalent to, having a shoe as your healer on your squad. You know, like, if you had a Timberland boot as your second healer, it would be roughly equal to Adam Warlock's numbers at the end of the game. The Timberland boot would rack up about the same amount of value to keep people alive. So there is that to consider, you know? Adam Warlock is great for burst heals, but not good for sustained heals. No, he is not good for sustained heals at all. He does have a little bit of healing over time when he uses Soul Bond, and Soul Bond is great. Don't get me wrong. That gives you a lot of health, especially if you use it when, like, a Groot is inside of the Soul Bond. Like, if you and a Groot Soul Bond each other, imagine how much damage they would have to put out to be able to kill both of you in the, like, in addition to the healing over time, in the duration of your Soul Bond. It's basically impossible, unless he gets maximum pulsed or something like that, you know? So, yeah, so, like, I don't know. Adam Warlock, not for me. In my opinion, probably not. I think that, okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say my opinion on the matter now that we have exhausted the 3 replies to this post. I think that it has to go to either one of the DPS or Loki. And when I talk about the DPS, like, not all DPS here are created equal, but you consider that Iron Fist has to really choose his engagements before he goes in. He has to press the right buttons at the right time, or he just gets dumpstered, you know? And, like, now in Season 1.5, he's a little bit tankier than he was, deals a little bit less damage, but if he doesn't press the right buttons, he just dies, you know? Iron Man, up in the sky, probably a less cerebral type of character, but he requires less aim as well, because his primary fire does AoE damage when it lands, so you can kind of aim next to somebody and still get a decent amount of value out of it. When you consider, like, I'm gonna go back over to the game screen real quick. When you consider certain heroes, like Psylocke or Black Panther, or even, to a lesser extent, Spider-Man, like, these characters have to really consider who they're going to engage with, and when, and what buttons they're going to press, and how they're going to get out, and they have to prepare themselves for the eventuality that if they don't leave in time, they are dead. They have a very short window of opportunity to be able to get in, get a kill, and get out before they're looking at the respawn screen and watching their team fight the team fight that they're no longer a part of. And for that reason, I think that the dive DPS characters have a more difficult cerebral experience than the rest of the cast, because their window of opportunity is so small, their potential value is very high, but their threat level of death is also extremely, extremely high. So when you dive in on a Spider-Man, if you don't secure the elimination in like 2 to 3 seconds, you have to leave or you're dead. Same thing with Psylocke. If you don't secure the elimination, you have to dash out or go invisible or you die. Black Panther, same thing. If you don't land your dashes, or the server lags, or your dash doesn't reset or something like that, you just die. And it's so quick. And maybe this is more a reaction speed thing than it is a thought thing when it comes to Black Panther specifically. But if you don't hit the right buttons, you instantly get deleted. And that is something to consider. Magic to a lesser extent as well, although she does have iframes, but she has to be close enough to actually do something. Otherwise, she just does nothing. You know, she's just a blonde-haired paperweight that flies into the enemy team and gets sent right back to the respawn screen. You don't have to think about that as much when you're playing a Punisher. You don't have to think about it as much when you're playing Bucky, although Bucky does have a decent amount of decision-making as well, just based on which abilities you use, when do you hook, when do you reload your gun manually versus when do you reload your gun with an ability, how long do you save your ultimate in between uses so that you can prolong the ultimate for as long as possible. There's a decent amount of thought that goes into Bucky as well, but also a pretty aim-intensive hero. So I would say the least intelligent DPS, like the least thought that goes into DPS, is probably going to be with somebody like Iron Man or somebody like Squirrel Girl or even like Moon Knight. Like Moon Knight is probably I think the least type of DPS in the entire game, because like you think about Moon Knight, his whole strategy is, if I throw this honk behind them, I can kill them before they have a chance to turn around, you know? And then when they get engaged on in a 1v1, if their Ankh is on cooldown, they just fucking fall over. Because you spend your entire gameplay session throwing your primary fire at a stationary Ankh on the ground or a wall, instead of actually dueling with targets that are moving and have varying hitbox sizes, etc., etc. Like, Moon Knight is probably the most brain-dead DPS in the entire game, in my opinion. Let's see. Soul Bond is just not enough for me, not up enough for me to consider it sustain heals. It's not a sustain heal, but it's a sustain ability, because it effectively makes your health pool like multiple times the size that it normally would be. You know what I mean? Flo says, pro tip, play dive with Penny Parker. That is not a pro tip. like play dive with Penny Parker on your team, or play dive into a Penny Parker. Because if you play dive into a Penny Parker, you just die, bro. Like, what kind of tip is that? What kind of professional league are we in here, Flo? Who are we giving this advice to? If you play dive when you have a Penny Parker on your team, it's kind of also equally as bad. Because if you're diving, in general, that means you're on offense. And if you have a Penny Parker on offense, you probably don't need one. You know, where you could have a Venom instead, who does a lot of what Penny Parker does, but lives for way longer. You know, and doesn't require the spider nest to keep him alive. Although Penny Parker does have her uses, and I do think that she is one of the best crowd control characters in the entire game. If you look at her very short cooldown snare, you can use this to cancel almost every ult in the entire game, right? You throw it on the enemy, Scarlet Witch when she uses her ultimate. You throw it on a Doctor Strange. You throw it on pretty much anybody in the startup phase of their ultimate, and you can deny a ton of value. I just don't, like, I would never dive with this character, you know, because she, like, her primary fire deals so little damage, bro. It hits like a pea shooter. When she shoots that off, it deals 15 damage on a direct hit and 15 AoE damage. So 30 total. But in reality, a lot of times you're not hitting a lot of people with the AoE. So you're barely dealing damage with her. The only way that she deals high burst damage is with her mines. And her mines absolutely destroy. So there is that to consider. You know, the Arachno mine, if you stack a few of those up, that part is pretty cerebral. I'm not gonna lie. Knowing when to throw your mines down, and where to place your mines to get value, and how to position them to be extremely dangerous. I'm actually thinking Penny Parker might not be the worst pick in the world for a thought-provoking hero. You know, when you think about, you have to properly place your spider nest, you have to properly place your mines to be able to get burst damage, you have to have your web ability off cooldown when you need it to stop people from doing scary shit to your team. Maybe Penny Parker is a pretty good suggestion here. There is a lot of thought that goes into her. There's just also not a lot of value that comes out of her. You know what I mean? Like, she does a lot, yeah, but she also doesn't do a lot most of the time, you know? Like, she has a lot of options, but that doesn't mean that she's capitalizing on them or that the enemy team is stupid enough to fall for it in the case of the mines, you know? You can kill melee characters really easily with her, though. So it's very difficult. You know, if you have a Penny and a Namor, in what world are they going to be using a Wolverine or a Black Panther against you, you know? Like, characters that spend most of their time on the ground and also need to be in melee range. Or a Magic, you know? Like, if you have a Namor and a Penny Parker on your team, and they have a Magic on the other team, if she doesn't swap, it's probably a good game. You know, it's probably over for the Magic in that scenario. But the real most cerebral character in my mind, as it's got to be Loki, right? Like, I don't even think it's close. I don't think it's anywhere near the level of the other characters in terms of the thought that goes into it, because you not only have your position, you have your clone's position. You have to place your clones in a way that you can drop your rune to be able to save people both in melee range and in the backline. So you have to position your clones intelligently. You need a clone to be able to escape so that you can get out of a scary situation, so you can instantly teleport to one of your clones. You have your ultimate, which gives you the most versatility in the entire game, because it lets you copy whoever you want, instantly have their kit and their ultimate ready to roll. So like, is it even close? Is it even a contest? Like, Loki has gotta be the most intellectually based character, the most strategic character in the entire game, right? You know, like, what part of Loki's kit does not require thought is the real question. I think, you know, and then there's the idea of like, well, do you throw up your clones and then stand still like a clone? Do you throw up your clones and keep moving? Do you put your clones in the front line with your tank, or up on high ground, or from a side position? Do you put one in the back line? When do you go invisible? When you go invisible, are you using that for the escape of being invisible itself, or are you using it to create the clone that happens when you press that ability? There's so much thought that goes into Loki. I don't know if there's any character in the game, realistically, that has more thought than him. We could argue some of the other characters are difficult to use and have a high skill ceiling and have a lot of things that they could potentially do. But is that more thought that goes into it than Loki himself? And also not really aim requirement, because you can shoot the floor as Loki, and the burst of damage / healing will do the same amount regardless of whether you direct impact them or you hit the ground around the person you're trying to hit. So like, it is not only strategic, but it does not require aim. And I think that is probably the one, in my opinion, the one character that requires the most strategy in the game. I don't know, man. I think Loki is insane. Definitely the highest skill ceiling of all the heroes. And in terms of strategy, like an infinite amount of things that you could potentially do. Hang on one sec. All right, Star's taking off, so I wanted to talk about that one. I thought that was interesting. Thank you guys for chiming in. I appreciate it. Let's go, and there are a few more things that I wanted to cover here. Let's talk about. Let's do this one next. I thought this was really funny. I didn't read any of the replies yet. It says, "Who is this guy? Wrong answers only." What do you guys got? What do you guys got for who is the thing? Wrong answers only. I can't wait to see what kind of ridiculous stuff Reddit came up with for this one. Like, this is the perfect post for Reddit, because everybody is such a troll here that it just makes the most sense that this would be the place you would find a post like, "Who is the thing? Wrong answers only." You know? And I have my own wrong answer, but I'm not sure that I want to say it. So, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start reading some of the replies. Dwayne Johnson, bro! They said he's Dwayne Johnson. I mean, he is The Rock, right? He is The Rock. Oh my god. That is so funny. Oh my god. That might be the best answer. I hope that's the most upvoted comment. For my money, Dwayne Johnson might be the funniest one. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh, it's got 10 replies. 51 upvotes. Yeah, dude. 51 upvotes. That is hilarious. Shaq hard as a rock. Oh, God. That shouldn't be as disgusting as it is. But he is. He is Shaq adjacent. He's got Shaq's build, if nothing else, you know? Someone says, "I also came to say Dwayne Johnson." I also came to say Dwayne Johnson. Everyone came to say Dwayne Johnson. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 replies. They all wanted to say Dwayne Johnson. Somebody just replied with, "I am Groot." How is that applicable, bro? Who is this guy? Wrong answers only. I am Groot. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean? Somebody says the thong. That thong, the thong. Did you guys see the meme of the thong yet? I'm not sure. Do I have it on me? Hang on. I'll try and pull it up in the into OBS real quick so I can show you. Let me just check right here. I think I might have saved it. Here it is. Let me just save it real quick because you guys can't see this. I'm gonna save it there. I'm gonna go back over here. 1 second. It'll be worth it. I promise. And then browse this, that. Bang, bro. This is the thong. I found this on Twitter. I don't know who made this, but they're a genius. Isn't that shit hilarious? Why would they do this? What? Why would you... First of all, how did they get the screenshot of him with no pants? And second of all, Why would you spend time making this? I love it. I think that is goddamn hilarious. All right, I'm going to take that away. I don't want to sit here looking at that all day. All right, we got I Am Groot. We got the thong. It's Graveler. Oh my god, bro. It's Graveler from Pokemon. That's pretty funny. I like Graveler a lot. Let's see. Oh, this has replies. Let's see. It's Geodude. He says, I'd agree, but it's got legs, so it evolves. So does that mean it's Golem? It's Gollum, dude. It's Golem. Not Gollum. Gollum is from Lord of the Rings. Golem is the Pokemon that's made of rock. It's got legs and arms. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that's reasonable, I think. Let's see. We got Pat Fusty. Who the fuck is Pat Fusty? Let's find out together. Do you guys know? Pat Fusty. I have never played Bloons, so I don't know what this is. Yeah, fair enough, I guess. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it could be. It could be. It's got one reply. Legendary pull with a BTD reference. I don't know what that is. What are they talking about? It's the Incredible Hulk. Clearly, dude. I mean, Jesus, guys. What are we doing here? We should have known. We should have known better. Somebody says Korg. That's decent. Somebody says his husband. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one. We're just gonna keep going. The drink. Is that... I feel like that was a meme, right? He's not even the cup? Damn, bro. These people are going hard against the thing. That's not fair. Listen, this guy does work, all right? He might not be the drink. He might not be the cup. But he might be the bottle, you know? At the very least, he's decent. At least I think he is. We got Deep Rock Galactic. That's pretty funny. 2 replies to that one. Let's see. Did I hear Rockin' Stone? Rockin' Stone in the heart. This must be a reference to something, and I just don't get it. Johnny Sins. Who is Johnny Sins? Shiny Geodude. John Carpenter's The Thing. What? What are you talking about? Granola Man. This is a top 1% commenter. Granola Man got 4 upvotes. Is Granola Man a thing, or did they just make that up? Granola Man. Oh, it has a description. A granola man is a slang term for someone who is environmentally conscious, enjoys the outdoors, and prefers natural products. Is that right? These are granola men to you? Just gonna click through a few of these. Like, I don't know. Maybe he looks like a granola bar, I guess? Is that why people say stuff like that? Granola man? Not for me. That joke didn't hit for me. I'm gonna get this out of here. Bro, somebody has the Shrek quote. It says, I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder. Yeah. And like, nobody can argue with that, alright? I like that boulder too. It is indeed a nice boulder. That. Lame. Is this hang on. Is this the something? The something. You guys are killing me. Rockface. Captain Eczema. What the fuck, bro? Oh my god. That is so rude. Captain Eczema. There's more responses. Nothing. Your mom. Yo, listen, alright? The Thing wishes he was as tough as my mom. This guy's got nothing on Grandma Moon. You know? 0. Brock the Rock type gym leader. This is Brock? I disagree. You can tell that it's not Brock because you can see his eyeballs. And not a single one of us has ever, not one time, seen Brock the gym leader's eyeballs. So, we know it's not him. Going back down, we have that one rock Pokemon. Oh my god, thank you for being so specific, dude. That one rock Pokemon, that really clears things up. What a guy. What a guy, bro. We got another that. Somebody says, he's your uncle that never got married or had kids and travels around the world, living in Bali and Thailand, smashing lady boys? What? Every photo he has 2 next to him. We don't know how he makes the money to do it. He just does. Well, he obviously has an OnlyFans where he sells Rocky feet pics. I mean, duh. Like, how are you guys making your spare cash? I've been doing that for years. You know, you just auction off a picture of your toes made of rocks, and then, you know, to the highest bidder, and Bob's your uncle, you're living in Thailand now. If only it were that easy, right? Jesus. John Carpenter. Senum Vex. I don't like this comment. Rocket Raccoon. They said that the thing is Rocket Raccoon. No, not for me. He doesn't even look like a rocket. Hulk after being flushed down the toilet. What? What part of this makes him look like... I guess because he's brown? Like, is this implying that this is the color of your poop? I'm just gonna say this, bro. If you are pooping the color of the thing on the regular, change up your diet and potentially consult medical advice. That's my advice here as a completely non-professional, not medical qualified person at all. I would highly recommend, if you are shitting orange like this on the reg, please change up what you're eating, dude. It's ridiculous. Let's see, going back down, we got a, I don't speak Spanish, so let's go ahead, let's pop this into the Spanish to English translator and just see what he says. Let's see, this is what he wrote. Spanish to English. Is this not Spanish? Let's try French. Maybe it's French. Maybe I don't understand how language works. French. No? What language is this? This looks like Spanish to me. Portuguese, maybe? Nope. How about Portuguese from Portugal? It's Portuguese, okay. Goalkeeper Casio, who even treated Neto's son so well in the Florida Cup. As a red-blooded American, I don't watch soccer and I don't know what you're talking about. Somebody says, my baby daddy. Yo, if the thing is your baby daddy, does that mean that he rocked you in the bed? Like, I'm not sure. If this is your type, more power to you. You know, there's somebody for everybody out there. But, what? Like, what? Alright, somebody says your mom. We already saw that one. Rocky Balboa, dude! Rocky Balboa! Oh my god. I love that response. That's my favorite response so far. Clobbering guy. Clobbering guy, that would be like a great value, the thing, right? Like if you bought thing at a Kmart, he would be clobbering guy, right? If you bought a thing figurine, it would say on the packaging, a thing. It wouldn't be the thing, it would be a thing. And then like his quote, right? Like, you know how they have like the speech bubble that's in like a big spiky speech bubble inside of comic book toy packaging? The speech bubble would say, "It's clobbering hour." You know, like, you know what I mean? That would be clobbering guy. A thing. That would be his name. Unmoisturized Hulk. Yeah, that's kind of facts though. That's kind of facts, right? Stone-faced. Yeah, yeah. He is that. Who is Dr. Blair? Who is Dr. Blair? I'm just Googling it. Is it this guy? Let me just see. Can I scroll down? Cause yikes, bro. Yikes, man. I'm gonna assume that's who they're talking about, and I'm just gonna say I don't see the resemblance. Mark Henry, who the fuck is that? I see it. I take it back. I do see the resemblance here. Mark Henry, yeah, I could definitely, especially like in this picture right here, I could definitely see how this guy could play the thing. 100%. Uh-oh. Hang on one second. Hang on one second. I gotta go into my stream captures and delete some old streams because I just ran out of space on one of my hard drives. Which is not great. Never a good look. Let's go ahead, let's start here, and I'm just gonna take it up to, I'm gonna delete all of these, and then I'm going to this up to, like, right here, I guess? I guess that's fine. That's probably good right there. Let's just delete all of those. I'm going to start the recording again, just to make sure that we're good. I could definitely see how Mark Henry could be the Thing. He could definitely play him in a movie, in my opinion. Okay, something that has no chance of survival without supports. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's probably pretty true. Maybe he could get into a couple of 1v1s, but he does not have the mobility to get away and find a health pack fast enough, and he definitely does not have the sustained potential to be able to stay in the fight for very long. So there's that to consider. We got Rock Hudson. That's pretty funny. Not bad. We got Rocky McRockface. Yeah. There's no arguing with that. He certainly has a rock face. Agent Stone, I feel like has to be a reference to something, right? This is Agent Stone? You think this guy is the Thing? Can I find this one? Look at this shit, bro. Hang on, let me just scroll down some. This is the guy that they compared the Thing to. What? Maybe if we're just using the name Agent Stone and you're not actually talking about him, I could kind of see it. Pooh Man! Fucking Pooh Man, dude! Somebody said the Thing is Pooh Man? Oh my god. I take it back. Rocky Balboa is now my second favorite. Pooh Man is now in first place. Winston Churchill. I disagree. Thing the. Lame. Let's see. Is it another Hulk? We have Hulk, She-Hulk, and Red Hulk. Rock Hulk would make sense. I mean, that's fair. You know, it's like Eevee of superheroes, right? Eevee from Pokemon, it's like the Eevee of superheroes. You got like regular Hulk. You got like I evolved with a grass stone, and now I'm She-Hulk. You got like I evolved with a fire stone, and now I'm Red Hulk. And then I guess you know you have the I evolved with a lightning stone, and now I'm Rock Hulk. That doesn't really make sense. I evolved with a rock stone. Is there a rock stone in Pokemon? I feel like no, but maybe there is. Maybe in the later generations. Cookie. What? A boxer who loves burgers. That is facts. That is definitely facts. I could definitely see a boxer that loves burgers. I mean, who does? If you don't love burgers, what is wrong with you? That's the real question here. Tim the Tatman. There is not a single tattoo on this motherfucker. Are you serious? If anyone is Tim the Tatman, let's just be real here, all right? Oh, I think I just changed that page. Hang on, let me go back. If anyone in Marvel Rivals is Tim the Tatman, it's this guy. And I don't think there's any arguing that in any way, shape, or form. This new Hulk skin that just came out, this is the real Tim the Tatman in Marvel Rivals. It's not the Thing. And also, Tim the Tatman is not even orange. Not that I'm saying he's green either, but this guy at least has one tattoo. You know, he's got more than one. You can't call yourself Tim the Tatman and then look like... Hang on. And then look like this. It's ridiculous. Going back to it. Let's see. Scrolling way down. Continuing to go down. This is actually pretty funny. I like this one. I like this this topic a lot. Rock Bottom. Get the fuck out of here, Rock Bottom. The Stuff. Not a thing. He is a thing. And as a matter of fact, he is a thing. The Object. Yeah, the immovable object, dude. This guy's got a ton of sustain. The Uncredible Bulk. I think he's pretty credible. I don't know. Morph. Clayface. Antipode? What the fuck is an antipode? In geography, the antipode of any spot on Earth is the point on Earth's surface diametrically opposite to it. A pair of points antipodal to each other are either situated such that a straight line connecting the two would pass through the Earth's center. Excuse me. Each other are situated such. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, no. I don't know if that's a thing, but I don't understand. The Superstone. He is super. He do be superin'. Bro. Is this the funniest answer of them all? Someone says that the Thing is the heel of their grandmother's foot. I couldn't even say it without cracking up. Get that woman some lotion, dude. Holy shit. If you, like, do you even put a sock on if that's what your heel looks like? Or do you just go barefoot because your foot is harder than the actual gravel underneath your feet? Like, that is disgusting and hilarious at the same time. Somebody says Brock the Rock Hawk Tua. Stretch. That's a stretch, dude. That's Hellboy! Is it? Is it, though? I can't explain it, but I get Thaddeus Beefaroni Twiddle vibes. Alright, I didn't think it was funny until I read it out loud. Thaddeus Beefaroni Twiddle, as the real name for the thing, is actually pretty good. All he would need would be like a monocle, a fucking stupid mustache, and a top hat. And then he could be Thaddeus Beefaroni Twiddle. Without question. I think that's a solid pick. Where were we? There we are. There we are. Okay. Somebody says, we are Venom. No, we're not. Mr. 4. Dumb. He is some all caps thing. Dumb. I-Rock from Ready Player One. I don't remember I-Rock. Who is I-Rock? I-Rock. Nope, that's a tire. I'm pretty sure that's not it. I-Rock from Ready Player One. This is the guy that you think looks like the Thing? Let me just grab this real quick. I'll scroll down a little bit. This is the dude that you're considering Thing-like? I disagree. Hard disagree there. The stuff, the annoying orange. Yeah. Uncle Ben? Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Uncle Ben the dude on the rice? Let me just... Unless he's talking about Spider-Man's Uncle Ben. If he's talking about this guy, this doesn't make sense at all. Because not only is he not made out of rock, but he's not orange. But I feel like this one makes even less sense. Like, dude, this is Uncle Ben. What are you talking about? Like the Thing is clearly not going to get shot after picking Spider-Man up from his latest underground wrestling match. Clearly not. Boulder. Yeah, we already covered Boulder. The thing is, I can't quite remember his name. I mean, the Fantastic Four are always talking about their family, though, so he must be Vin Diesel. He must be Vin Diesel. Yo, the Thing is Vin Diesel now. All right? Whenever we talk about the Thing, chat, we're forever, from this point forward, going to refer to him as Vin Diesel. And I think that is, like, he's obviously, he obviously goes hard on the head scaping. You know, the top is super smooth, just like Vin Diesel. You know, his muscles are rock solid, just like Vin Diesel. The only thing is, oh, you know what? I take it back. They both star in shitty movies that nobody cares about. So you're right. I think Vin Diesel is right. That is a potential candidate for who this person is. Where are we? Thong, we did that. Let's see. Brick says, can we call him Thing Diesel? I think that is the only thing we can call him. Bricks, what's going on? How are you? How's your day going? I think Thing Diesel is 100% his new name. At least for me. Thing Diesel, Brock Hudson, what was the other one? Pooh Man, I forgot. Dude, it came to me and left that quickly. Yeah, Rock Hudson, we've got Pooh Man, and we've got Thing Diesel. Those are the ones that are most hilarious, in my opinion, up to this point. Continuing on, where are we? Bricked Hulk. Nah. Did anyone else think of Dwayne Johnson? That was literally the first fucking post, my guy. Do you not know how to read? Jesus Christ. The Creature, the Thong. Louder than people who commented before, Dwayne Johnson. Yo, exactly, right? Like, this dude gets it. At least this dude gets it. I'm gonna give him the thumbs up. Oh, I'm not signed in, and I'm not going to. That's fine. That's the stuff, obviously. Clearly, dude. He's something. We already heard that joke. Graveler, we already heard it. That's the Boulder Chris Redfield punches. I'm gonna Google this, because I don't know who Chris Redfield is. Boulder punch. What the fuck is a Chris Redfield? And what is the boulder he punches? What game is this? Resident Evil. Got it. Okay. And this is the boulder. Yeah. Okay. All right. I see it now. I see what they're talking about. Let me move my stupid ass face. Hang on. Oh, it doesn't take it away in this shot. Hang on. It'll be worth it. I hope. Unless it's not, and then it wasn't. Here we go. Look. Okay. There's the boulder. This is Chris. Look at him uppercut the boulder, bro. What a savage. And then he uses it to create, presumably, a bridge to cross lava. All right. Yeah, all right. This is the rock with googly eyes on it. Which, the thing doesn't really have googly eyes. His eyes are really small, so, I don't know. Somebody says, I have no clue what the thing is. Me neither. It says Brute, like Groot, but made out of rocks. I'll allow it. Benjamin Franklin. In what world? In what world does he look like Benjamin Franklin? He doesn't look like he could discover electricity at all. He looks like I'm like, dude, the thing looks like he midnights as a cab driver in New York City. You know? Like, there is no part of him that looks like what I just read. Where are we? Number 4. Mr. 4. The stuff. Benjamin Franklin. There is no world where he looks like Benjamin Franklin. Dude, that's stupid as hell. Rock and Stone. Yep, that is, yep. I mean, facts though. The Thing-a-Ling. It's slobber in time. Yikes. I liked the Thing-a-Ling until it followed up with It's Slobber in Time. And then that took a hard left, you know, for me. That thing. That thing? What do you guys think? Should we call him That Thang? Should that be another one of his nicknames? Who is... Dude. They had to cut the image off. There was more to this. I'm so glad I don't have to see the under part of this image. Jesus Christ. I would have gotten canceled. The whole show would have been demonetized. Shrek's new redesign. Have you guys seen Shrek's new redesign, by the way? You guys seen this shit? They're redesigning how Shrek looks from the 2001 version, which, I mean, it's been like 20-something years at this point. I feel like it's kind of fine to redesign him. It's all right. It's all right. Let's see. Let's just Google it real quick. Shrek redesign. Let's go to the images because I don't care to look at any of their stupid ass wallpapers or thumbnails or anything like that. Let me move my face again. Here we go. This is Shrek's redesign. The old one on the left, the new one on the right, pretty close, except he now has very distinct eyebrows that he didn't have before. And, you know, you could see them pretty well in this picture here. Let me just, no, I can't do it without taking my camera away. God damn it. I don't want to keep hiding my face. But you see, this is like the new eyebrows of Shrek. And you compare that to the old eyebrows of Shrek, which are basically non-existent. Open a new tab. Look at it. Look at how thin his eyebrows are there compared to how thick his eyebrows are here. Can I just scroll down some? I can't scroll down at all. My face is in the way, again. But that's Shrek's new redesign. It's, like, fine, I think. Also, consider that Shrek has aged 20 years by this point, you know? I think that, you know, you can't blame his face for changing over 20 years. None of us look the way we did 20 years ago. At least I hope we don't. You know, 20 years ago, I was 15, and I looked like a little shitter back in the day. I think all of us did. The Mole. No, wait. Spanish speakers will say it's right. The Mole? The Mole Spanish. I'm just gonna Google that because I don't know. Like, is that a thing? Is that like a show? Like, I Google it. I Google The Mole Spanish because this guy says Spanish speakers will know, and all I get is fucking food. What do you mean? What part of this is Spanish? Like, if anything, he looks more like the rice. Is the mole from a show? Is it a person? Is it like, what's the Spanish TV channel? Telemundo. Is it like a thing on Telemundo? I don't know. He looks more like the rice to me. I'm just saying. Like, if he were anything like that, I think he would be, you know, the side of rice. Chicken with chocolate on it. It's gross. That's the mole? Yo, so the mole... Wait. This is a legit... This is chocolate? Like, I saw this and I just assumed it was like hot sauce or something. What the fuck? Who's eating that? And for what purpose? That sounds nasty as hell. Chicken and chocolate? Ew, bro. It's definitely nowhere near the level of good that chocolate and bacon is. That's for sure. That sounds nasty. That sounds horrendous. Mole, pronounced. See, I needed somebody from Texas to school me because I am from the Northeast, and we have people who speak Spanish here, but not nearly as many as you do. You know, like, we have a very mixed population, a little bit of everything, a sprinkle of everything. Not nearly as Spanish-speaking heavy as a Texas neighborhood up here in Jersey. So, yeah, see, I wouldn't have known that just based on... And also, when I look at this, where is it? Shrek's new redesign. Where is the mole? We just saw it a second ago. Yeah, the mole. Right here. He doesn't have, like, an accent over the E at all, so how would I have known? Thank God you're here, Nick. Or I would have been looking like an idiot for this entire show. Just calling it the mole. Like, this is a traditional dish, Moon. How are you so uncultured? My bad. My fault. It's obvious, you fools, it's Loki. I mean, it could be Loki. It could very well potentially be Loki. Sometimes, you know, because he does have the ability to turn into that. What does this say? I don't speak whatever language this is, so I need to Google it in English. I'm gonna Google this, and then I'm gonna hit space in English. My hair is a man's hair. My hair is mutated. Okay, so it must be a meme. It must be a meme, or an Instagram or a TikTok thing. This guy. Yeah, dude. Okay, I see it. I see what they're saying. I see what they're driving at here. Yes. Okay. I agree. I agree with this person and their hilarious whatever. I don't even know what language that is. I'm not going to pretend like I do. I'm just going to keep it pushing. We got the thing but backwards. So it's goodnight. Or yeah, goodnight. Yeah. Here's the thong, which I didn't even need to load this up into OBS like I did. Bricks, if you weren't here for this earlier, make sure that you look at the screen real fast because this is the thong. Somebody made this. Somebody had to take the time to Photoshop things butt cheeks in a thong. And I want you to appreciate how funny this is. I saw this on Twitter. What a hilarious... Dude, isn't it good? Isn't it good, though? Oh, my God. It's hilarious and stupid, and I can't believe somebody wasted their time on this. Bricks, were you here earlier when I read what is potentially my favorite response to this? When someone said, that's the heel of my grandma's foot? Because, again, if your heel looks like that, do you even put socks on? Like, for what purpose? You wasn't? Isn't that disgusting, though? Isn't that nasty as hell? Like, we've all had grandmas. So, presumably, we all know what the heel of an old person's foot looks like. And, I think I speak for all of us when I say, ew, bro, gross, nasty. Also, very funny. Somebody says, Bob, he is guilty of many things, from tax evasion to genocide. If you see Bob, do not run. Just try to enjoy your last few moments before you are destroyed. He doesn't deal that much damage, dude. Jesus Christ. This guy really, his name is Gloomy Big 7717. You really are gloomy. You really are. That's ridiculous. Someone says, my mom, yo. If your mom is the thing, you know, more power to your mom. You gotta really be confident in your own self-image to walk around being the thing and also being someone's mom. Flo, can you read this? Flo, what does this say? If you can read this sentence right here. Because to me, it looks like it says, half-poor Julius Bjornsson. What the fuck is this? Who is this? I'm gonna have to Google it. I'm gonna give Flo just a second to be able to see it one more time. Wait, where are we? There we are. This right here. What is this? I don't know. I'm Googling it. Oh, the mountain. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yup. The mountain from Game of Thrones? Absolutely. 100%. I can't believe I didn't know his name. But also, he's got like a not that recognizable name. Here is the mountain from Game of Thrones standing next to a 6'5" woman. Just to give some context into the size of this man. Kelsey Henson is bordering on 7 feet tall, and he has this much height over her. I have no idea how tall Kelsey Henson is, bro. What do I look like? I know. Who the fuck even is Kelsey Henson? I don't know. But that's a big dude. I would not want to fight this guy, is all I'm saying. You know? I feel like if you come across a dude like this and you anger him in some way, it's time to say goodnight. This dude's neck is the width of my torso. So, yeah, I would not want to piss him off. Okay, alright. Rocky Balboa, we saw it. Something. We saw it. Free kills. Yeah, I don't know about all that. I mean, kinda. When I see the thing on Psylocke, I kinda do think of him as free kills. Like, free ult charge, free kills. If a support doesn't come save him, I'm gonna farm him. He basically cannot kill me before I can kill him because I have so much mobility compared to the thing who can run like one time. But if he does stomp you while your dash is on cooldown and then you're immobilized and he gets a few hits in, there's a good chance he could kill you. I don't think he's free kills as much as I think he is easier kills, you know? We got the thing is the final one. And somebody just commented back and they just said no. And like... yeah, that's the best response to this. I'm going to say if he's anybody, I think he's the president of the United States. Let's just be real. Like, that's who he resembles most to me, based on his complexion. Oh, like, solely alone on his complexion, I think he might be the president of the United States. That's my stupid-ass answer. I hope everybody had fun with this thing discussion. I know I did. Some of these responses were hilarious. Pooh Man and Vin Diesel are 100% my favorite. He is now Thing Diesel to me. He is and always will be Thing Diesel. That shit is amazing. I loved that. All right. Moving on. We did the most strategic character. We did who is this guy. Okay. I wanted to talk about this for a little bit because I also think that a discussion could be had about this one. The title of this topic on Reddit is, needs to be said again, it's an absolute joke ranked crossplay isn't a thing in 2025. Do you guys think that you would like to have ranked crossplay in Marvel Rivals? Like, for you guys that play on console, for the console homies that are out there, would you like to go up against PC players in your console lobbies? And I feel like this is like a resounding no, because it's, in my mind, fundamentally less of a competitive experience if you are mixing input methods together, and if you are not utilizing the technology of a PC compared to a console. Like, if you have a juiced PC and you get 280 frames per second, how is it fair to go up against people who get maybe 60 on their PlayStation 4? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that could realistically be taken seriously. Brick says, I think I'd get smoked. I feel like it would not be, I don't know if you'd get smoked, but I feel like there would definitely be some disadvantages for the console players overall. Nick says, no, you would be at a disadvantage, right? That's my thought on it. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you can You can aim more precisely with a mouse. You can turn faster with a mouse. You can load into games faster on a PC. Now, granted, in ranked, everybody loads in before the game starts, so that's maybe less of an issue with the load screen thing. But you also have the power of a PC compared to the power of a console. Like, is it really competitive at that point? You know, because competition is meant to be that everyone is on as level of a playing field as humanly possible. Nick says, and my friends say PC players cheat. I believe them. I mean, maybe, like, arguably some PC players may cheat, right? But, like, a lot of times PC players are cracked because of our input method. Wouldn't be fair matchups. I don't think it would be either. And, like, the PC players can be seen as cheating because of how quickly we can do things based on the input method that we're currently using. Like, you can press a lot of buttons on a keyboard compared to the very limited amount of buttons you can press on a controller. You know, not that I'm saying that controllers don't have a lot of buttons. Obviously they do. But compared to a keyboard, obviously they don't, right? Like, I don't think it's close, in my opinion. You can hit way more keys on a keyboard than you can on a controller, and more easily. And then in addition to that, being able to aim more accurately with a mouse. Like, you can't turn around as fast as you can with a mouse. And if you put your look sensitivity high enough to where you're on a controller using the sticks and you can turn around as fast as you can with a mouse, you are now sacrificing your ability to aim because you can't make fine adjustments to your aim while you are using a sensitivity that high. I feel like there is a downside, a direct downside to raising your sensitivity to a super high level on console, and the only characters you would do it with are super high mobility dive characters that require you to turn really quickly, but not necessarily aim for the head. And I think that is kind of the only way, maybe? Let's read what they say. You know, before I start talking shit on it, and before we go off on a rampage, let's just read what they say. Half of my friends are PC, and this is the one and only game we can't play ranked together. There is no reason why players can't be given the option to either queue with PC players or not. Every other game does it, and if a game like Siege that has no aim assist for controller, so mouse and keyboard is a literal straight-up advantage, can be cross-play ranked, then a hero shooter like Rivals can too. Again, I don't see a single downside to giving players the option, all caps, to play ranked with PC, much like Siege does it. 2 separate ranked pools with separate ranks, one for console and one for ranked only crossplay. I have things to say, but I'll keep going. Because of this, my friends and I don't play this game nearly as much as we would be, and we're slowly stopping and continuing to play other games that support and fulfill that competitive need. I'm sure it's the same for many other groups as this is one of many posts I've seen on Reddit, and oh dude, this guy's opinion is immediately out the window because he just called Twitter X like some kind of fucking moron. Twitter is still Twitter, and if you were a Twitter user for a long time, you know why it's still Twitter, and it's because fuck Elon Musk. Like, just because you buy the platform doesn't mean you can change the name, and the language that we've used for a decade is suddenly going to change. Like, I'm not altering my vernacular because rich guy from Rich Dad went and bought something and decided now it's called this. Like, that is stupid as hell. What are we talking about? Anyway, rant over on that. Let's talk about this. I do think, potentially, giving console players the option, in all caps, might be an okay way to solve this. Like, maybe, yeah, if you want to queue in with your PC friends and be at what would probably be a disadvantage if you're playing on console, if you want to queue in with your PC friends, I don't see why you shouldn't be able to give it a try. That being said, when we get down to this sentence down here, he says, we're slowly stopping playing Marvel Rivals and continuing to play other games that support and fulfill that competitive need. Like, if you're playing crossplay in ranked, I don't know that it's really that competitive. Because, again, competition stems from an even playing field. And that part is very important, in my opinion. To have an actual competition, you need everybody to start on level ground. Otherwise, it's less of a competition and more of a snowball effect that the winners win more and the losers lose more, in my opinion. Let's see what the comments say. This would just funnel... Oh, and I also want to say that back here before we move on to the comments. Two separate ranked pools with separated ranks, one for console only and one for ranked crossplay, is a stupid as fuck idea. I think this right here is just going to serve to segment the player population. It's going to divide who is playing what. It's going to create a lot of opinions based on whether you play ranked as a console only or whether you play ranked as a crossplay experience. Like, people are going to say that you're better or worse one way or another depending on their opinion on the matter for playing either ranked or crossplay, either console or crossplay ranked. Like, I don't think that separating the community is ever a good idea in any way. So, like, I think the difference between having quick play and competitive as their own separate playlists is enough to be like, hey, this is how you determine whether you are good at the game or whether you are casual at the game, and it gives you a picture with a word to show on average roughly how good you are at this current point in your play of a video game. I don't think we need a separate ranked pool for console and a separate ranked pool for crossplay, because then you're just gonna have like crossplay elitists being like, yeah, well, you know, you might be Grandmaster in console-only crossplay, but that means that you're actually a platinum player for your crossplay ranked experience. Oh, you know, and they'll do like that demeaning bullshit that you always see in ranked games where people are like, oh, you guys need to hop off so-and-so character. You know, like that kind of attitude would just be given to everybody who doesn't play ranked crossplay at that point. And, like, why would we want that? Separating the player pool, never a good idea, in my opinion. The comments say, this would just funnel ELO towards the PC players like crazy. I'd be losing my mind if I had teammates using a controller. No thanks. Yeah, and that is also a thing, right? Like, in ranked, I don't want to see any of my teammates with the Xbox Elite controller plugged in to their PC unless they're like really correct. At the highest levels of play, the difference between a really high ranked console player and the difference between a really high ranked PC player is actually very small, because like the advantage for getting aim assist and the advantage for using mouse and keyboard being more precise, those advantages are not that big at the highest rank of play. But that gap becomes larger and larger and larger the farther away from the absolute peak of gaming skill that you get. So, like, a gold PC player to a gold console player, it's going to be a big disconnect in terms of how well they're able to play the game. Whereas a Celestial or a top 500 PC player and a top 500 console player are going to be very close in terms of what they're actually capable of. And I think that part is worth remembering. Like, just because you play on controller does not mean that you are automatically worse than everybody who plays on mouse and keyboard. And it never will. You just have to be especially cracked on the sticks to be able to compete at that type of level with players that can 180 on a dime, that can aim precisely across extremely long ranges, etc., etc. Like, the more cracked you are, the less it matters what your input method is. But when we're talking about, like, the average player of the video game, like your silver, gold levels of, like, I play the game, but not too serious, like, the difference between those input methods is usually pretty large. So Nick says, one thing I keep thinking of is if a PC player with the same skill as a console player may do better, but PC players in gold will be around the same skill with PC advantages as console skill. Don't know if I said that to where it makes sense. It's actually, if I'm reading that correctly, you and I were saying the same type of thing, but it's like the opposite, right? Where, like, lower skill players are more accurate on mouse and keyboard than console players on controller. But the higher in skill you go, the closer the gap becomes. Like, it's very, very small when you face off against people who are insane on controller than compared to people that are playing on PC. But the less insane they are, the bigger that gap becomes. Let's see. Somebody says, bro, you really don't want that. And I'm going to have to agree. I think this is one of those situations where this guy thinks he might want something until he is faced with the reality of living in that ecosystem. And then I think that his opinion on the matter would change very quickly. Somebody says, I don't get why it would be an issue if it was a separate game mode. It splits up the player base, and the best players typically end up only playing one mode. Other games have tried it, and it always fails. It does, in fact, split up the player base. And that is exactly what I was saying. It says the player base is large enough that it wouldn't be an issue. No, it would. It always is. Splitting the player base never worked well in any game. That's why... Oh, I didn't mean to press that. That's why you see, like, in Overwatch, people fell off when they started splitting up game modes into a bunch of different game modes. Same thing with Destiny. Destiny players fell off of PvP. PvP died hard when they started splitting PvP into a bunch of different game modes. Like, the more you split it, the less people give a fuck. And that is important to remember. Somebody says, League of Legends players said the same thing with solo/duo versus flex. Not the exact same, but a similar concept. Similar kind of. Let's, can I just see the replies? Like, I just want to see the replies to that one specific post. Being able to play with all your friends trumps all other arguments against it. I mean, there's a reason every other game supports it. No, absolutely not. Is that the guy who said it? Yeah, this is the guy who made the post claiming that being able to play with your friends trumps all other arguments. No, it doesn't. Competitive is specifically for competing. You can't compete if you're not on a level playing field to begin with. That's not how competitions work. You know, like in a race, if somebody started 5 cars ahead of the other car, they would be at an advantage, right? And I know, like, in like NASCAR and shit like that, they have to start in a line because the tracks aren't wide enough for everybody to be, like, right next to each other. I get that, right? But, like, horse race, like Olympic race, we're talking, like, actual competition, not entertainment. Like, things have to be, you have to start at the same base for it to be competitive. Somebody says, what other hero shooters have ranked crossplay? And the OP says, the original poster says, when talking about other games that support it, I was meaning the vast majority of games, especially ones releasing nowadays, support crossplay ranked. Whatever, dude. Let's get some other people's opinions. This guy's living in an echo chamber of his own thoughts. Let's see. I don't get what would be an issue. There we go. Okay, so that's where we were. Somebody says, what the hell would be the point of ranked crossplay in a shooter? There's already plenty of data that shows console players have a disadvantage when playing shooters against keyboard and mouse. We don't need to run this experiment again. That is true for the majority of players. Let's see. 4 more replies say, I hit GM on controller on PC. I don't know, bro. GM is where, like, we're talking about, like I said, that line becomes smaller. That gap becomes smaller the higher in skill you get. This guy is a cracked controller player. That's why he was able to do it with controller on PC. Somebody just says, nah. A top 1% commenter just says, nah. Thank you for the massive elaboration on your point there, sir. I can really talk about that for a while. Someone says, I 100% agree. It's insane to see people crying about this, but literally all of my friends are on console, and I'm on PC, and I would love to play ranked with them, because we are good together, but it's just not an option. At the very least, let console players join PC ranked with a keyboard and mouse. You're not allowed to use keyboard and mouse on console, and this is another reason why it could never be competitive on a grand scheme, right? Because it's literally bannable if you plug a keyboard and mouse into your console. I don't know if you guys knew this. Yeah, Hanny says, nah. Exactly, Hanny. Nah, bro. Nah. It is literally a bannable offense to use a keyboard and mouse in a competitive game on console. So, and this is again, this is why it can't be competitive. Because you're not on an even playing field. You never get banned for using a controller on PC. You do get banned for using a keyboard and mouse on console. That alone is enough of a disconnect. Somebody says, yeah, so we can all deal with the PC cheaters. No fucking thank you. Look, dude, I'm just gonna say it, bro. I have played more hours of this game than probably most people in the world. And I'm not tooting my own horn. It's just the facts of the matter. I have I'm going on 500 hours since this game came out. There are not that many cheaters on PC. Hanny says PC player equals cheater. That must be it. That must be it. You're absolutely right. It does happen. Like, there are some. There just are not that many. And cheating on PC is normally done in a way that it is like blatantly obvious that these guys are cheating, you know? Like if they go into a game and they're flying on a magic, they're probably cheating. You know, if they go into a game and they have 100% headshot accuracy on a Widow or a Hawkeye, they're probably cheating. Other than that, it's probably not happening as much as people think there is. You know? The OP says, again, like Siege, I'm saying for it to be completely separate, so you have the option. You don't need to play with them in this scenario if you don't want to, just like Siege does. I think that this separation thing is the main problem with his argument. Not so much the competitive aspect, but the separating the player base is never good. It always leads to bad things. I haven't encountered a single cheater. Same. And if I have encountered a single cheater, I actually reported a few people for cheating. I never got a message back from NetEase, at least as far as I can remember, that somebody got banned for cheating. Let's see, we got, thank you for reporting. That was for somebody who was being toxic. Thank you for reporting. Again, somebody being toxic. And I can't go back any farther than that, but yeah. I don't see how the cheating thing is really that big of an issue. But yeah, it says, or controller players who need 10 business days to turn around just so they can miss the target. Listen, it's not that bad. They don't need 10 business days, all right? It's more like 8. I'm kidding. It's, you know, it can be really bad depending on what sensitivity you play at, especially compared to a mouse and keyboard, but like, come on, dude. 5 to 7 business days, Hanny says, and I think that is fair as well. 5 to 7 business days, and then they'll finally hit that 180 to miss their shot on the guy they were trying to aim at to begin with. I'm obviously joking. Someone says, I don't see why anyone would have an issue if it was a separate game mode, because you're splitting the player base, my man. That's why. That is the exact reason. Maybe crossplay should be enabled if you're a team of 5. Otherwise, no. You can take the controller players and hop on somewhere else, because controller players are dog shit. I think that might be a step too far. I've played with plenty of people who are on PlayStation or on Xbox that are actually really good. However, I think both, if they were to do it at all, I think both parties should have to opt in to playing competitive with people that are not on their platform, but I do think it should be the same pool. And while that would separate it for the people who don't agree to play with those people, it would not separate it insofar as, like, you have one ranked if you play solely cross-play competitive, and you have one ranked if you play solely console competitive. Like, that's the problem right there. But I do think the option to opt in would be fine. Like, if you want to do that, even though you're going to ruin the experience potentially for other people, they would have to also opt in to playing with you and potentially have their experience ruined, right? I think that would be fine if you give everyone the option and force everyone to agree to the terms before you start just throwing random PlayStation players inside of my PC competitive lobbies. Someone says, the number one player not too long ago, TTK, plays on controller. There are countless clips on this subreddit of insanely cracked controller players in Celestial on top 500 on PC. Exactly. Cracked controller players, top 500. These are the key words to take away from this scenario, right? Because these guys are not at nearly as large of a disadvantage as Johnny Two Thumbs or like Billy Dayjob, who come home from work and they just want to game out with their buddies. You know, like, I feel like those are the exception to the rule, obviously, because they're top 500 compared to the, like, 40 million other people that are playing and are not top 500, you know? Like, the amount of people who play Marvel Rivals is massive. Top 500 is, like, the smallest part of that. Why would you play with a cracked controller? Hanny, that is fucking hilarious. Why would you play with a cracked controller, dude? If you, like, look, I'm just gonna say it, right? I think if you're playing on console or on PC and your controller is cracked, you set yourself up for failure. You played yourself at that point, you know? That is hilarious. One time, I'm gonna take you guys on a little moon story for a minute. There was one time, back in my youth, my early part of my youth, when I was not even an adult yet. I was like 17. I used to play Halo 2, and I used to play it like to a pretty competitive level. The Halo 2 was the first one that you could really play online, and that was like the game when I was a kid. I have a Halo tattoo. It's on my calf, so I can't really show you guys unless like I stick my leg up in the air like a lady who's looking for a ride on the side of the road, but like I'm not going to do that. But like it was such a good game and such an integral part of my competitive gaming experience that I got it tattooed on me so that I would forever remember those memories, right? But anyway, so I'm playing Halo 2, and I was not that good back then. I was still learning how to play first-person shooters. I had played, like, GoldenEye. I played a little bit of that on the Nintendo 64. I played a little bit of, like, Doom on the PC back in the old days, right? But I never really got down with first-person shooters until Halo came out, That's why they make better lovers. PC players are just better with their hands. That's why they make better lovers. Yo, can confirm. Like, if Star were here, she would also confirm. Brick says, we named our dog Halo. That's fantastic. Do you make the dog call your boyfriend Master Chief? That would be pretty funny as well. Yeah, but, Hanny, I agree with you. We're just better with our hands. So there I was, 17 years old, playing Halo 2. Terrible at the game. Like, legitimately terrible. Like, bronze level of skill at the game. And I think that if you can think about what a bronze level player looks like now, and then you think back to when first-person shooters were still new, bronze then was even worse than bronze now. And that's a hill I'll die on. Like, we've gotten better at video games over time, so it's not even close. A shittier bronze than you can even consider now. That's how bad I was at Halo back in the day when I first started. And I got so mad one day. I was playing, I thought I was doing good, I thought I was gonna get some kills, and I was just getting mad. And I would die, and I would get mad. And I would die, and I would get more mad. Until it eventually made it to the point where I got so pissed off that I pulled my Xbox controller out of my 360, grabbed it by the cord, swung it around my head like I was fucking Indiana Jones, and then smashed it into the ground over and over and over again. Why did I do this? Because I was 17 and stupid. It wasn't until a few seconds later that I considered the repercussions of the actions I had just taken. I broke one of my thumbsticks doing that. Amazingly, the controller did not crack. I have no idea how. The controller didn't crack, but I smashed that son of a bitch into the ground a bunch of times, and I broke one of the thumbsticks. It was all loose and stupid. Aside from that, the controller looked fine. By some act of God, the controller looked fine. I have no idea how. And then I was like, damn, now I gotta pay $50 for a new controller. What do I do? So, because I wasn't going to stop playing Halo, right? I had to leave that match because my movement stick no longer worked. But I wasn't going to stop playing Halo. So I immediately got myself dressed and I went out to GameStop, bought myself a new controller. And then I used that for the rest of the day, and I considered how stupid I was for smashing my controller. And then the next day I was like, yo, wait a minute. What if I could get my money back for this controller and have almost no problem with the fact that I smashed it to begin with? So I took the old broken controller, right? And I put it back in the packaging of the new controller that I just bought. And I got my receipt and I took that shit back to GameStop and I said, yeah, I don't know what happened. I opened it up and the thumbstick was just super loose. It might be broken. I feel like the thumbstick is broken. And the guy at GameStop took the controller, he held it in his hand, he looked at it. Mind you, this controller had been used. So it's not like it was pristine. Like, there was definitely, like, sweat on the controller from me, like, holding it with my fucking sweaty mitts. You know, like, there was parts of the controller that were not clean because of how long I had used it for. This guy looked at it, felt the thumbstick, and was like, oh, yeah, no, you know what, you're right, dude, that's definitely broken. We're gonna issue you a refund. And he gave me my money back. He gave me my money back! After I smashed my controller, I was able to get a brand new one, and I got my money back. So it's almost like I got away scot-free, but now I have this bitchin' story to tell you guys. So, like, there's that, you know? Not a mistake I ever made again, I will say. Mainly because controllers no longer came with cords, so I couldn't get the leverage I needed, you know, to really smash that motherfucker. I just couldn't do it the way I used to be able to. They don't have cords, so all the controllers that I had from that point forward were safe. I thought you guys would like that. I don't know, I just thought you guys would enjoy that that little tale of Baby Moon doing things that children do. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so going back to our discussion here. Yes, I agree that this guy does very well playing controller on PC. He's top 500 in Celestial. There's a reason why he does really well. It's because he's really fucking good. And you know who isn't really fucking good? Most people. No offense to anybody. But most people, there's a bell curve of skill, right? Like, it goes like this, then it goes up, and then there's like the big bell part, then it goes back down, and then it's real small at the end, right? Most people are not bronze, but they're somewhere between silver and plat. That's like 70% of the player base is somewhere between silver and platinum, right? And if you sit in that bell curve, no shame to you. But like those people, what's 70% of 40 million? A lot. Those millions and millions and millions of people are not as good as this guy playing controller on PC. So, like, it's not going to be fair to them. It's not going to be fair to 20 plus some odd million people trying to play competitive with their PC buddies. You know, it's not. Someone says it's not impossible to compete with on PC with a controller, but it's definitely a lot harder. That's kind of the ultimate problem. Well, that and splitting the player base. The OP says, again, I don't see a single problem with giving players the option. And I can agree with players getting the option. As long as I can check the box to not get any console players on my team, sounds great. I feel like that would be the default setting, where you don't have to check the box to not get console players on your team if you're on PC, but you do check the box if you're fine with it. Someone says, yeah, no. Controller and mouse and keyboard are two different worlds in games like this. Mouse is way superior to the aim assist on the controller. I got to Diamond 2 on controller and switched to mouse due to limitations. Also, not to mention most people run 200 plus frames. Thank you, Snoo Tomatoes 4734. You get it. Most people on PC are running at 200 frames or more, and console is great, but it can't keep up with a good mouse and keyboard player with no input delay and way more frames and a better setup. I'm only saying this because the game, like Overwatch and CSGO, prioritize mouse aiming and gameplay. Like, Overwatch is a way easier, way better optimized game in terms of the performance that it can do both on a console and on PC than Marvel Rivals is. It's not a question. It's not up in the air. Like, Overwatch is a way better optimized game. It runs better on every platform. And that's because it has a multi-billion-dollar corporation backing it that has the money and the time to invest in making it a better experience. Like, Overwatch wasn't always as polished as it is right now. And you know, I know a lot of people hate Overwatch, but the truth of the matter is, it is a very well-polished game. Like, it is very well put together. It's very well handled. It's a good game. Brick says, I do miss playing on my Switch. I'm sorry, Bricks. I'm sorry that I stole you from the Switch life and had to move you over to the Marvel Rivals on the Xbox life. I understand. The Switch is a fun console to play on, you know, just in general. I think that the Switch is really cool. The games that you can play on it are pretty good, but from a technology standpoint, like, it doesn't hold up against the Xbox, and certainly not against the PC in terms of, like, technological capability. Although the Switch 2 is coming out, and I hear it's going to be almost as powerful as a PlayStation 4, so that should give a lot of Switch players a lot of confidence. They can play some of their games in 60 FPS, hopefully. Fingers crossed, pretty soon. I don't know if I'll buy a Switch 2 right away, since I bought Breath of the Wild for my kids' Nintendo, and I intended to play it, and then it has been like 2 years, and I never did. I mean, don't get me wrong, I played it for like 15, 20 minutes, maybe an hour or two, and then I never picked up the Switch again after that. I don't even know where it is at this point. I'm sure it's in her room somewhere, but she takes it to her mom's and, like, travels with it back and forth sometimes. I don't even know if the Switch is in the house, but I do think that the Switch 2 coming out will give a lot of people a lot of options. Will Marvel Rivals come to Switch 2? Maybe. I'm not going to rule it out as a possibility. Do I think that it will be good? I don't know. It remains to be seen. I think if they do a Switch port for Marvel Rivals, like and like specifically Switch 2, because I don't think it will run on the actual Nintendo. If they do a port for Marvel Rivals on the Switch 2, I think that their pools for quick play and competitive need to remain Switch only and not cross over into Xbox and PlayStation territory, because you've got people out there with a PS5 Pro, you know, you've got people out there with the really expensive Xbox. Like it's not comparable in terms of the power of those rigs compared to the Switch. So I think if they do make a port of Marvel Rivals and they keep it as Switch players only, unless you decide to group up with somebody who is on either console, a different console, or on PC, then I think that you stay with your other Switch players. And then that way, you guys will have the same issues across the board, and you won't have to worry about the technological gap. There's a better word that I wanted to use, but I couldn't think of it, and that's why I stumbled over technology. There is a better term for this, but the gap between the two will be a lot less if you get to opt in for that. And I think, like, in terms of going back to our opt-in discussion, I think in terms of opting in for PC players, it would be incredibly naive of a Switch player to opt in to a not optimized game like Marvel Rivals to play with PC players in ranked and think that they're going to have a good time. Like, you probably won't, right? Like, you just realistically will not have fun on a machine that is that dated compared to somebody's PC with like a 5080 in it, you know? The 50 series cards just came out from NVIDIA like a week ago, or some of them are coming out in like another week or two. I'm pretty sure the 5080 is already out. I think the 5070 that is not a TI is going to be coming out in a couple of weeks here. Like, those cards, the graphics card alone costs as much as the entire Switch console or more, you know? Like, we're talking about $1,000 piece of equipment inside of someone's computer, and that's just one part. It's not comparable. So, like, will the Switch get a port of Marvel Rivals when Switch 2 comes out? We can hope, right? And then that way, Brix can enjoy some gaming on her Switch while her boyfriend enjoys some gaming on his Xbox, and they can chill out next to each other on the couch, and everybody can play a game. And then she can decide whether or not to opt in with other console players. I think that'd be cool. So yeah, just going back to the original point, is it an absolute joke? Is it an absolute joke that ranked crossplay isn't a thing in 2025? I don't think so. Not for Marvel Rivals, at least. I think maybe other games can do it, and it's fine and good for them, for their game, for their specific situation. I don't think the argument holds up as well. You know? Amen. Amen, Brix. Just giving me the applause. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. We got one more topic I wanted to cover today, because I saw this and I thought it might be interesting. Not a lot of responses to this one, so it'll be a shorter debate here, but do you guys think quick play mode is not casual enough? Hannibal says the Switch is where the real competition is at. Listen, I would love to see the YouTube videos of the unranked to Grandmaster or the unranked to top 500 Switch only. I would love to see those, because I think that would be, A, incredibly hard to watch because of how shitty it would look on the replay, and B, incredibly compelling content because of how difficult it would be to actually pull off. I think that in general, it would be very hard for people to go unranked to top 500. Like, if they were playing against PC players and they were playing on a Nintendo Switch, or like on a Stream Deck or something like that, I think it would be incredibly, incredibly difficult. However, also incredibly compelling. Okay, so this next topic is, do you guys think that quick play is not casual enough? Now, for those of you who don't know, in all of your quick play games, you have skill-based matchmaking in effect. So you are, in quick play in general, unless you just made the account and it just doesn't have enough data on you, you are in general facing people that are kind of balanced in terms of the two teams. So if you are ridiculously good, like let's just say that you are the actual Winter Soldier, right? Like you are him, right? You're probably going to get a bunch of people on your team that are much lower ranked than you to balance out how strong you are compared to the other team. And then let's say you're like a top 500 Winter Soldier player, right? Then you're going to have a bunch of people that are in like gold and silver on your team to balance out your ridiculously high MMR with their ridiculously low MMR, and try to find a team that's somewhere in the middle, right? Like we're not talking about like the best players in the world will be on your team because you're one of the best players in the world. What it does is it tries to balance the teams so numerically they're pretty close in terms of win rate. So with you being a top 500 player, if you have a bunch of silvers and golds on your team, but you're facing off against a bunch of platinum and diamond players, the odds of the matchup being roughly 50-50 are pretty good, you know? Brick says, speaking of compelling content, will I be doing game reviews again? Bricks, I would love to do some game reviews for you. If you would like to, I'll tell you what I'll do. At the end of this show, I will go into the Discord, and if you're not a member of the Discord, I'm going to go ahead and press !Discord here, and it will paste this link. Looks like it only did it for Twitch, so let's go ahead and do it for YouTube as well. And then that way we get it over on the YouTube side too. If you guys are not a member of the Discord, please feel free to join our Discord. The Dude No Way Gaming Discord was mostly Destiny when I started the channel. We have moved on to Overwatch since then, and there were some Overwatch gameplay reviews that I did last year. That was a very popular series here on the channel. So if you guys would like to have your gameplay reviewed by me, I will watch your game, I will give tips, I will see what you're doing and try to break down how things could have gone better, or just comment on how well you did if you send me a game that you are like super good at, like in. Don't get me wrong, I would rather see a game where you struggle so that I can give actual meaningful advice and help you to climb. If you would like to do that, after this show, I will set up a Marvel Rivals gameplay reviews section inside of the Discord. And that reminds me, I need to do a whole bunch of Marvel Rivals stuff in the Discord too. So thank you for reminding me about that, Bricks. I will set that up, and then you can send me your replay codes there, or you can leave them in the comments. And I would be happy to start my shows by reviewing one of your games. And then we can talk about it, we can have discussions about it, and I'll turn it into YouTube content for the people who do want to watch it. So that'll be in the Discord later on today. Feel free to send me your gameplay reviews if anybody's interested in it, whether you are a bronze player, whether you are a GM player, all the way up to the best players in the game. Please feel free. I would love to see your gameplay and comment on how good you are, or how good your team is, or how well you guys did, or how shitty you did. You know, I think it's fun either way. Okay, so like I was saying, I wanted to talk about this. Do you guys think quick play mode is not casual enough? If you're a top 500, really hard, really skilled player, you're going to be faced with a bunch of people on your team that are lower skilled than you, so that you can then face off against some medium skilled players on the enemy team, and the game will try to get you as close to a 50% win rate as possible, and then that way, skill-based matchmaking will not put anybody into a game that is completely unwinnable, right? That bothers a lot of people. The skill-based matchmaking topic has been a hot debate for years in pretty much every game ever since it was first implemented. And like even in discussions that you'll see both on Reddit, on Twitter, and even in YouTube videos, you'll see people saying like, I win a bunch of games and then it puts me into lobbies with the stupidest teammates of all time, and then I can't win because my teammates throw and there's zero chance for me to win. And that is not always the case. And we can talk about that on another day. But that is the sentiment that grows around that. So the more you win, the more people think, oh, I won a bunch of games. Here comes the inevitable loss where I play against the gods of whatever game I'm playing, and my teammates are actual potatoes with no thumbs trying to play a video game, or like somebody who just picked up a game for the first time in their life. That's literally the sentiment. So, when you're playing quick play, just remember that your team is probably roughly equal to the enemy team in terms of skill. Do you think it's not casual enough? Let's read what they say. I understand and totally agree with the community being frustrated in comp for bad hero picks or negative KDs. But in quick play, I feel the same level of frustration and toxic behavior is unwarranted. Where else are we supposed to learn tough heroes like Black Panther, Spidey, Hulk, Hawkeye, and Widow? Practicing versus AI is a good learning step, but nothing beats learning playing versus real players. But in quick play, sometimes players behave as if they are 98 out of 100 in GM1, and it's a clutch game to reach Celestial 3. And, like, I can agree with that. People are crybabies about this shit to a massive degree. There's no reason that you can't win a game, even if your team picks not necessarily the best heroes for the comp that you're fighting against. You don't actually have to straight up counterpick the enemy to actually win games. That is super important for you to keep in mind when you are playing. Even in competitive, you don't have to counterpick. You don't have to have the best hero comps. You just have to lock in and do your best, and you'll roughly win 50% of those games. Someone says, by the way, before I start hearing skill issue, I am Grandmaster 1 and stopped comp after unlocking the Torch and Invisible Woman reward. In quick play, I check the profiles of the players who are ranting, and 90% of them are bronze and silvers. Yes, that is true. The people who bitch the hardest in quick play, who have the most to say, the most shit to talk, the most complaints about their team or the enemy team or whatever, are usually very unskilled. And the reason they're so talkative, the reason they're so bold as to say the things that they say, is because they don't understand enough to understand why their opinion is stupid and wrong. And, like, you know, you guys can agree or disagree with that statement, but it is objectively correct that the dumbest people are also the ones with the loudest voice. Like, they will complain because they don't understand. They will scoreboard Sally because they don't understand the nuance and complexity of the situation. They will look at the scoreboard and think big number equals better person, and if you're not big number, you're not better person, and they have the right to tell you that they hope your family, you know, drives off a bridge or drives off a cliff like the O'Doyles from Jesus Christ, from Happy Gilmore, right? Like, they'll be like, oh my god, our Spider-Man went 4 and 5. You and your whole family need to fall in a boiling pot of ramen noodles and make sure it's shrimp flavored. Yeah, for whatever reason. But, like, that's exactly how stupid the arguments get. And, like, 90% of these players are bronze and silver. 100%. You know why? Because people that are in fucking GM, that are in Celestial, that are in top 500, we're not sitting here talking shit. Yeah, Billy Madison. Thank you so much. Thank you. I could not, for the life of me, get Billy Madison to come up in my brain. I could see him in his stupid-ass little hat, right? Like Adam Sandler's little back to school get up, like his whole little ensemble. I could see him, but I couldn't think of Billy Madison worth a damn. Yeah, like, these are the players that will tell your team that O'Doyle rules, and then they'll drive off a cliff, right? That's what they want. That's what they want from you. They want to shit on you as hard as they possibly can because they couldn't shit on you in the actual game. They have the most to say because they know the least. O'Doyle rules. And then, oh my god, what a great movie. What a great movie. Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out soon, by the way, you guys, if it isn't already out. I can't wait to see that shit. Shooter McGavin actually came to our mall over here not that long ago to, like, promote Happy Gilmore 2, which I think is pretty cool. I didn't go, but I was working that day, and the server job that I have is inside of a mall. So everybody in the mall was talking about how Shooter McGavin was there. So that was pretty cool. All right, so one of the comments on this post says, quick play is casual enough if you turn off chat/voice chat, or learn to ignore people being toxic and sweaty on what is clearly not the competitive game mode. Win-to-loss ratio in quick play has no impact whatsoever. 100%. If you guys are treating quick play like it's ranked, and, like, I am guilty of this, so I'm allowed to say this. If you're treating quick play like it's ranked, just chill out, man. Just take a breather, bud, all right? You're in over your head if you're treating quick play the same as you treat your competitive games. It's not the same. You know, people in quick play, they're learning characters, they're trying out heroes that they've never played, they're seeing if they like someone, you know, if they enjoy somebody's kit. You know, maybe they're hitting the Benjamin while they're having a nice little game session, you know, and they can barely see. Maybe their eyes are as wide as Brock from Pokemon, right? And they've got, like, a massive, like, vaporizer next to them, and they're just doing their thing, you know? They're just having a good old time. And then Billy Dayjob comes in, and he's like, oh my god, 4 DPS players insta-locked DPS, and none of you idiots decided to go tank or healer. And it's like, Billy, you're 1 in 5 on the Punisher. Shut up, right? But you don't say that because you just let Billy go off on his stupid ass rant. You let him say whatever he wants to say, and then you continue having a good day on your end because Billy Dayjob's opinion doesn't matter. Tomorrow morning he's gonna wake up and he's gonna put on his little polo shirt with the M on it, right? And he's gonna put on his visor and get his little fucking speak to talk headset. And then he's gonna go take orders at the Mickey D's drive-thru, and his opinion on whether or not you played a good, I don't know, Jeff the Landshark that game will have zero effect on your life whatsoever from that point moving forward. So, fuck those guys, you know? And it's pretty chill if you ignore the people that are talking shit both in voice chat and in text chat. You can shut all of that off. You can shut off your text chat so you never have to see them type. You can shut off your voice chat so you never have to listen to them. But, like, unless you're streaming and you're worried about somebody dropping an N-bomb or, like, some kind of other slur or just, in general, swearing way more than you would like for your particular stream, I don't see why you don't just leave that stuff on for entertainment value, you know? For the pure entertainment value of listening to idiots argue with each other. Like, watching the blind lead the blind is the funniest shit in the world, you know? Like, when you have, and especially when 2 morons start sucking each other off, agreeing with each other, and they're both fucking wrong, like, it is so enjoyable if you know that they are wrong. Like, if you could see them arguing and they're just too stupid to understand why they're wrong, but they're agreeing with each other, it's like watching Dumb and Dumber play out in real life, you know? So, like, I don't know, don't shut that off if you have a thick enough skin to deal with it. But if that stuff really gets under your skin, like if you're like 17-year-old Moon was, and you do bad in a video game, so then you send yourself a text message that says, off yourself, to say it, like, very nicely, that won't get me demonetized on YouTube. Like, I legit used to say shit like that to myself in text messages so that I would find it later and remember how bad I did, you know? Like, when you see those people in your ranked games or in your quick play games, just give them the middle finger and keep it pushing, dude. Like, you don't have to think about them. Brick says, I'm guilty of watching YouTube vids of toxic gamers purely to listen to the idiots argue. It is so funny. And, like, granted, there are a lot of really smart people, really skilled gamers that will get into arguments with other really smart, really skilled gamers. And they will argue about something and not see the context of the other person's argument because they're too busy claiming that they're right and standing on their soapbox, right? They're too far up in the sky on their high horse to see the forest before the trees, you know? But there are also, to a much larger extent, the stupidest motherfuckers you have ever seen in your entire life, and they just love to yell at each other, and it is great. It is, some of their insults are so hilarious. They are. It's amazing. I love Twitter videos where I find somebody who is arguing about something in game chat. Like, they'll be like, yo, DPS, you need to step it up. I'm on Groot and I got the most damage in the game. And then you watch the replay back of their game and it's just their 2 healers funneling heals into Groot while he frontlines in the middle of the entire enemy team, and the healers can't look at anybody else to heal them, so the DPS are falling like flies left and right. They're just dropping all over the place. They can't get a kill. Groot's not making any space. All the healers can do is put all of their resources into Groot, or the team just straight up loses, and then they lose the game anyway, because Groot doesn't know that he's not a fucking car in the middle of the street, so he needs to actually stand behind cover and use not his own wall, but an actual wall to absorb some of the damage being thrown at him, right? And then he'll be like, DPS, why do I have more damage and more kills than you? And it's like, bro, because you're an idiot and you don't know that you bombarded all of the healers' entire play session for the last 15 straight minutes, that all they could do was heal you, and that's why the enemy team has like 50,000 damage per person, because they just spent the entire game shooting you, because we all died in 250 damage, and you got healed for eternity, and they just kept funneling damage into your 800 hit points that just kept going up. Like, that's the reason. Like, and they just don't know. And they'll just sit there on their high horse and think that they're the shit because they got, again, big number equals better person, right? A big number equals better gamer. You know that person is not going to watch that VOD back and be like, where could I have improved? What did I do to cost us this game? Zero chance. They're going to pat themselves on the back and go be mean to their spouse or their kids because they didn't do well in their video game, you know? And that's exactly how these people think. They're sitting there, they've got a tank top, it's got Cheeto dust on it from where they took a bite in between rounds while they were looking at their own respawn, and they wiped it on their fucking belly. You know what I'm talking about? They got a beer that's cracked open, a Pabst Blue Ribbon that's cracked open next to their Xbox, and they're sitting there, they got like 5 cans on the floor, because they're like a 6-pack deep at this point. They're having an argument with their healers, because they're not getting the heals that they're supposed to get. Hannibal says, I feel called out. Listen, Hanny, this is not about you. We all know that you're a cracked controller player. I'm just kidding. Hanny, I don't even think Hanny uses a controller. If he does, he didn't used to. Or maybe he did and I just don't remember. But I know he plays on PC. I don't know if he plays... Hanny, do you even play Rivals? Have you played Rivals at all? Do you like it? And are you able to play games with flashing lights more now than you were before? That's a question I would like to know the answer to. Hanny, for those of you who don't know, Hannibal had a run-in with a health concern that caused some issues, and he wasn't able to play games with flashing lights or with a fast-paced atmosphere or like environment for a little bit there. I'm not sure if that's still going on or not. No, I haven't played. You just watched me. I love that, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Been seizure-free for almost a year now. Let's fucking go, dude. If I had a drink, I would drink to you. I'm gonna take a sip of water and pretend like it's a whiskey and water for my boy. Right? And then we're gonna pour one out on the keyboard for Hanny. Hanny, this one's for you. Can you imagine if I really poured this water out, dude? I made sure that cap was fastened so hard before I put it over top of my keyboard. But yeah, dude, that one's for you. We're pouring one out for the homie. I'm glad that you're doing better, medically speaking. Because, shit, bro, that scared me. I spent, like, I don't know, the better part of 6 months thinking about that at least a few times a day, being like, damn, I hope, and, like, that was when you were MIA for a while, too, while you recovered. And I was like, damn, bro, I hope my buddy is okay. Knowing that we weren't going to get to play Destiny together anymore, like, that struck me deep in my soul. So I just want to go over this real quick. Let's continue on with this thread, and then I've got another thing that I wanna go into here. This person says, quick play is casual enough if you turn off the voice chat. We talked about that. It says, TLDR, go practice Spidey in quick play, and if anyone rages when you leap off the map, ignore them or tell them to go play ranked. It works 100% of the time. And the OP responded to this person and said, I turn off voice chat and quick play, but turning off chat gives me disconnected single player vibes. I'll try it though. And like, I could see that. I could definitely see the single player vibe. You turn off all communication with the team and all they can do is like ping. And that's like the only way that you can communicate what's going on. You definitely would miss out on a ton of potentially really cool moments if you're only playing with the chat off. Somebody says, I find quick play to be way more toxic than ranked. Gotta mute and enjoy the game. See, in Overwatch, I had the opposite experience, where I found that ranked was just the most toxic place of all time, and quick play was like, I'm not gonna say the least toxic of all time, but there were significantly less shitters in quick play Overwatch than there were in ranked Overwatch, and like, it spoiled my fun for the game. Like, and it wasn't even me that was getting targeted specifically, because I spend a lot of time playing games, so like, in general, I don't have too many times where I do like really, really bad to where people will call me out and be like, yo, Moon, why do you blow dick so hard? And then I have nothing to defend myself because I actually did really bad those games. Like, that doesn't happen to me as often, but just listening to them in Overwatch just be mean to each other, like really mean, and like, I'm talking like Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2 lobbies, levels of rude, levels of like swearing and racism and just like horrible stuff, you know? Like the worst shit you could possibly imagine in Overwatch ranked. And it's like, bro, you're fucking silver 3. Shut up. Like, you're not even good, dude. Shut your mouth. Stop telling people that you hope their mom dies of cancer and shit. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's a video game, my guy. Like, we're all just here to have a good time. But nobody, like, again, and that could be because Overwatch was out for so long. It could be the negative sentiment surrounding the game post Overwatch 2 release back in, like, 2022. But there was just a lot of people who were just incredibly stupid and mean for no reason. And then this guy saying he finds quick play to be more toxic in Rivals than ranked. That could be because Rivals hasn't been out as long, and most people are probably playing quick play over ranked most of the time. You know, you go into ranked for a few games a day, you know, maybe 5 to 10 games a day, and then you probably go back and you play quick play because, like, you're done sweating now, you know, and now you want to play whatever you want and forget what anybody else thinks. Why would you care? If you want to play Squirrel Girl and everybody wants to insta-lock DPS, like, you don't have to care in a ranked or in a quick play environment like you do in a ranked environment. So, but like the fact that there's more toxicity in ranked or in quick play is crazy. And I also have experienced very little toxicity in ranked in Marvel Rivals as well. Granted, I'm not in bronze or silver or gold or even plat. Which, by the way, I played a little bit of competitive last night. And I am happy to say that I have climbed out of Platinum and have made it into Diamond, and I will continue my ranked competitive grind here and there and push my way up into Grandmaster. And I don't think I'll go farther than that, but if I do, it'll only be to push out of GM and into the next rank above that. Is that Celestial? I feel like that's Celestial. One of them got added in Season 1, and I can't remember if it was Celestial or Eternity. I'm 90% sure it was Celestial. Congrats, man. Thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate it, dude. I was pretty pumped. I only played 3 games last night. If I go back to my competitive games, I played 3 total games last night, and that was enough to get me out of Plat 1 and into Diamond 3. So I felt good about that. You see, I got 24, 29, and 25 for those games overall, and I did pretty well. I didn't even die at all in the final game. And I was actually pairing up in this game. I was pairing up with our Punisher, and we had some ridiculously stupid plays where, like, it was the start of a round, and I used a portal when the Punisher had ult, and I portaled myself and the Punisher only behind the enemy team while the rest of the team ran in the normal way. So the enemy was looking at my team, and then we just poured in behind them, and it's fucking judge, jury, executioner time. That was really fun. That guy was cool, man. We had a good time. But yeah, so I made it into Diamond, and that felt good. Climbing the ladder, congrats, bro. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I'm not God's gift to gaming or anything like that, but I do pretty well for myself. I am an extremely competitive gamer, even in quick play, and I knew, obviously, I've spent so long playing games. I've been doing this for, like, over 30 years. I've been competitive gaming for half my life, basically, at this point. So, and gaming in general for over 30 years. So, like, I better be fucking good at games, you know? Like, and I do this for my main, not my main source of income, but, like, the main thing that I do occupationally is this. And then I have a side job where I go to make extra cash. So, like, I better be good enough at video games to climb into the higher ranks, you know? But, like, so that was a big deal for me. I was excited to play ranked and actually have it work. Again, I was gonna climb into Diamond the other day and just commit the time to climb in there, but that was when the servers for Marvel Rivals went down, and they were down for the entire night for me. I just couldn't get back on at all, so I just called it a night and went and watched Severance on Apple TV. Great show, by the way. If you guys haven't watched it, Severance is a fucking banger. It's a super good show. Very cool. They just came out with season 2. I'm not going to go into any more of it unless you guys want to talk about that. But anyway, the OP says he'll try muting. Yeah, muting the game chat can definitely help. Somebody says, I don't think practice against AI is remotely helpful. If anything, it teaches you incorrectly. And yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Because, like, you don't have the pressure on you to perform against AI that you do against actual humans. It's not like AI is so cracked like it was back in the day. Like, I can't remember if it was GoldenEye. Was it GoldenEye where you could put bots in the game and you could turn their ability to aim up to, like, 1 billion, you know? And like, some other shooters had this as well. I want to say, like, early PlayStation 2 shooters had this shit too. Like, Time Splitters and stuff like that, where you could put bots in your games and you could turn their, like, reaction speed and their skill level up to, like 1 billion. And then, like, they see you, like you're over here, right? Like just coming out into camera view. Like that's just into camera view, right? Bang, you're here, and they see you, insta-locked, bro. They are on you, and you are fucking dead. You are dead so fast that you can't react at all. That's how, like, practice versus AI used to go. You would practice against the hardest level bots because they were of inhuman skill level. So when you got good against the bots of inhuman skill level, you knew you could beat any human at that point, you know? But the bots don't do what humans do, so it will never be the same as actually playing against real people. It just never, it doesn't equate. You know, it would be like going into Five Guys, right? And then you start comparing a Five Guys burger to a McDonald's burger. And it's like, both of these are hamburgers, but they are not remotely the same thing, you know? Like, one of these is fast food, and the other is a pretty good fucking burger. So, like, or like, you know, comparing, like, a chicken nugget to a really well-made piece of, like, chicken cordon bleu, you know? While both are chicken, there is an obvious disconnect between these two things. And bots will never act like humans do. They don't have the mannerisms of humans. They don't make mistakes sometimes, which is another part of being human. Like, you can count on somebody who's really good to still make mistakes. We all do. No matter how good you get, there will be times where you fuck up, and that's just part of being human. And the bots, even at low skill levels, they just have slower reaction speed. That doesn't mean that they're legitimately worse, you know? So, like, I don't think that those two really compare. Playing against bots, you're never going to really learn anything. Do it if you're extremely new and you're afraid of human interaction, or, like, you have some type of social disorder where you absolutely cannot play something with someone else that could potentially comment on how you played. Then play against bots, I guess. But other than that, like, just don't do it, man. Just don't do it. If you want to play a PvE game, go play a PvE game. Helldivers is like $40, dude. Just go buy that. You know, go buy any PvE game on Steam. You will have a better time and a more enjoyable experience than trying to play a competitive game or a shooter game against AI opponents. It's not real, dude. It's not real. It never will be real. It's never going to be good like you think it will be good. There's actually, I just pulled up my my Steam. You guys can't see it, but it's in front of the webpage for me. I just pulled up my Steam store, and there's a game called Beyond Hanwell. It's like a horror game, and it's on sale for $10 right now. And, like, I have a special place in my heart for horror games. This shit looks kind of dope. I might buy this just because I think it looks cool. Will I play it on stream? Probably not. Will I play it off stream? Probably not. But it'd be nice to put it in my inventory, in my library of games, which is already too large for me to even get to all of them, and look at it sometimes and think about how I might want to play that someday. Nick says, my 8-year-old son used to play against bots in Overwatch. I think that is, like, a perfect example of the exact person you want to play against bots, you know? That is exactly who you would like to see playing against bots, because why not? Why shouldn't a kid play against the bots? They're going to have a good time. They're going to have those moments where they feel like they really did something and they don't know the difference. That is the perfect time to play against an AI opponent. I need to close out of Steam here because I am getting distracted by the cool games that I have in my library that I have never played that I want to go back and play desperately. We'll talk about that in a moment. We'll talk about Steam games. Like I said, I had one other thing that I wanted to talk about too. This person has commented back, she who thirsts. I unfortunately gendered them incorrectly. I'm trying to read this. They say, I'm in Eternity right now, and yeah, it's pure ass. Feel like some sort of MMR slash SPMM system is in play, but it's good for grasping mechanics on characters if you can work past how trash it feels. Are we talking about quick play? Or are we talking about AI here? I feel like they're talking about quick play. So they're in Eternity right now, and quick play feels pure ass. Like it's some sort of MMR SPMM system in play. And there is. I talked about that at the beginning of this discussion. If you're in Eternity, which is like one of the highest people in the game, you are going to get people on your team who are incredibly low comparatively in terms of skill, because it's trying to balance the teams. And there are not that many Eternity players who are out there queuing up for quick play, so it can't just be like, oh, we got this one Eternity player, we got this other Eternity player. Let's slap them on a team together with a bunch of with a bunch of Billy Dayjobs and Daddy No Thumbs, you know? And then that way the teams will be balanced. Like, it just doesn't work that way. You're probably the one Eternity player in the lobby, and then everyone else is some variation of silver to diamond, or silver to GM, you know? So what this person is feeling is absolutely correct. The SPMM system is trying to give you more balanced matches. And why does it do that? Why do we have skill-based matchmaking compared to the Wild West of just allowing, like, connection-based matchmaking, just allowing anybody to play with anybody, and if you have the good people, then you roll, and if you have the bad people, then you get rolled. Why do we do skill-based matchmaking? Because it increases player retention. It mathematically will drastically increase the player retention in your game if you play people that are roughly around your skill level, and you have moments where you pop off, you have moments where they pop off, you have crushing victories, you have crushing defeats, you have everything in between. The variance in the skill of a 50% to a 50% win rate, or like a 49 to a 51% win rate estimation, is going to give you a much better and longer player experience and player retention time than having a Wild West connection-based matchmaking system, especially if you are at the top end of skill, because the best players in the world don't have fun for very long playing against the worst players in the world. So if you are an Eternity player in a connection-based matchmaking environment, and you just stomp, and then you stomp the next game, and then you stomp the next game, you're only going to play so many games before you're like, well, that was fun, and then you shut it off and you go do something else for the day. But if you're in a game and you do really, really well one game, that's going to release that dopamine and it's going to hit. You're going to be like, oh yeah, dude, I'm going to queue back up. And you queue in for the next one, and it's pretty hard, but you still win. And then you're like, oh my God, dude, I'm on a streak, bro. Then you queue up for the next one and you lose. And you queue up for the one after that and you get close, but you still lose. Now you have this incentive, right? The variance in the gameplay has now further incentivized you to keep playing, to keep queuing up for one more match, so that you can get back to the point where you have that dopamine hit of, I did really good. And that is incredibly important to keep people playing your game. And every first-person shooter, every competitive game on the market, MOBAs even, like card games, like chess, like fucking Hearthstone, you know, all of these games do the same thing to make you play the game longer because it works. It's simple psychology. Like, we need variance. We need challenge. We need wins and losses. We need to feel like we're the hero. We need all of these things mixed into a single play session, because that is what gets us coming back for the next play session. And all of that is scientifically proven. You guys can look this up if you don't believe me. It is scientifically proven that a more varied game session will increase how long your players play your video game. And there are even systems that are patented that are specifically designed only with retention in mind. And so they will only pair you against the people that they think will get you to queue up next game again. And that is like a Call of Duty type thing. It's literally patented by Activision. It's crazy to think about, but like, dude, I'm telling you, it's out there. It is out there. They are trying to get you to play the games longer, and they are using every psychological advantage that they could possibly have. And billion-dollar companies can pay for the research to be done to make sure that they are hitting your brain in just the right way to make you click that one more game button. And that's just the truth of the matter. Do I think quick play is not casual enough? I want to ask your guys' opinions about this now, and I'll talk about them a little bit here. Do I personally think quick play is not casual enough? No. I think quick play is pretty much exactly what you would want quick play to be, aside from the shit talkers in chat. I don't know why. This is the second person that like misspelled Celestial, and it makes me feel like, oh, never mind. Never mind. This person is in Eternity. I take it back. This is the second time I've seen this, though. It makes me wonder, like, are you not allowed to say Celestial in on Reddit? I don't know. But personally, I don't think it's too sweaty. I don't think it's too casual. I think quick play gives you the right amount of balance between them. You're not going to have games that are as competitive as actual competitive, though. And like, while I've been playing quick play for this last week, after having finally played a good bit of comp, like, I can feel the disconnect between the two game modes, where people are very coordinated in comp. They're ready to calm. They're ready to make calls and make plays with you. They're ready to take advice and do the thing that you want them to do just to see if it works, right? Just to see, if you have bought enough trust with these people by showing them that you are competent enough to make a call out and have them follow it, I think more often than not in competitive, you're going to see people will jump on board with you and try and make the play that you said. Whereas in quick play, you try and orchestrate a play with a bunch of people. Like, you're like Groot. You're like, all right, I'm Groot. I got my Moon Knight, or I got my ultimate here. And then you say in chat, like, hey, Moon Knight, I want to combo ultimates with you. And then the Moon Knight's like, dope, let's do it. And then instead of comboing ultimates with you, when you press it, they give you the middle finger, and then they watch everybody leave your Groot ult, and then they use their Moon Knight ult off the map, and then they laugh at you in team chat, you know? Like, that type of stuff is way more common in quick play than it ever is in comp. So you're not going to have the same experience, and you're definitely going to have more games where you have like one healer, or you have like no healers. That is also like shitty and doesn't feel good. Never feels good to go into a game and watch everybody insta-lock DPS, and then someone says, is someone going to play healer? And then somebody else responds, no. And then you play that whole game with 6 DPS. I did that just last night. I locked in on Psylocke as the game started, and everybody got mad, and they insta-locked a DPS character. 4 of them went on to Psylocke like I was the problem. And it's like, bro, I'm gonna get more kills than you, dude. Relax. Just pick somebody, whoever you want to play, and let's just give it a shot. And of course, inevitably, they all went DPS. All 6 of us were DPS that game. Nobody wanted to swap and play heals. We lost the game, of course, because like the other team had a balanced team comp. They had tanks, they had support, they had DPS, and they were playing together. Meanwhile, all of my team was off on a wild flank trying to play around a health pack. And the thing that happened is, first of all, I did get the most kills in the game on both teams by a large margin. I want to say it was like at least 5 kills more to me than it was to the rest of the game. The person in second place had like 5 or 6 less kills than I did. But everyone on my team, except for me and like 2 other people, died more than 10 times. And that's crazy, bro. And like, if you don't consider that casual enough, I don't know what is. What could be more casual than going into a game and dying 10 plus times, you know? And especially if it's not like a 30, 40 minute competitive game. If you're going into a quick play game and you die 15 times and you are only in there for 10 minutes, that's about as casual as it gets, you know? At least in my opinion. Nick says, I think it's casual enough and enjoyable. I agree. I think it's casual enough. You know, it has the moments where you get people who want to calm with you, who want to do cool plays with you, but more often than not, you kind of don't. You know, you kind of just do whatever and hope that it works out in the end. And if you're playing support, you try and enable these idiots to do whatever they can do and actually maybe hopefully get a little bit of value. And if you're playing tank, you try and maybe, make some space for these people to hopefully be able to do something and have some value. And if you're playing DPS, you just hope that you get some value, bro. You just hope that you are mechanically skilled enough to not shit the bed in that moment. You know what I mean? I feel like quick play is plenty casual. And I don't know what this guy's on about, but it's not a sentiment that I share. So we're going to go ahead and let that be the end of our discussion topics here. That was really fun. I enjoyed talking to everybody. Real quick, I wanted to talk about... I'm just going to pull this in real quick, because this will bring joy to some of you. I gotta do some stuff in OBS real fast. Give me a second. Gonna go here. Gonna open this folder. Scrolling real far down. Where are we here? Okay, here we go. You guys ready? I'm pulling this in. Bang. For those of you who are new here, I'm just going to drag this below my camera. For those of you who are new here, this video, I'm going to put it on a loop so that it keeps playing. This video right here is me and Hannibal with some random person inside the tower in Destiny. Many years ago, using a pom-pom emote and just having a good time, bro. We were just having a good day that day, man. It was me and Hanny. We were just chilling, dude. We were just having a great time, using emotes with random strangers. This was back when Hanny could still play games with flashing lights and fast pace and stuff like that. Hanny, I still have these videos. I saved these specifically because of the good memories that I share with you and the times that we spent playing together, bro. How heartwarming and how wholesome is that, right? It's just a minute-long video of us dancing in the tower. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it wonderful? You know? Just makes you feel good on the inside. I'm gonna leave it up for a minute. Let me see if there's any more. I'm just gonna go in real quick. I just want to see if there's any more. I'm just gonna name this whatever and hit the browse one more time. Let's go over there. Let me just see. Do I have anything else of that variety? I got this one.
Like Mary J right
Let's
there.
try this one.
What's up?
Oh, this is yeah, dude. Okay, Hanny, this is let me actually move it back up to the top. Nope, that's not it. Hang on. Let me move it up to the top. There we go. There we go. Hanny, this is a full-length video of me, you, Star, and DevNado doing emotes at each other in the tower. I'm just gonna fast forward it some. There we go. This is us. We're like Hannibal went AFK, and this is us all using a spear emote and holding it at his throat. And then a random stranger comes over and puts the spear at Hannibal's throat too. You know that meme where it's like the guy standing and he's got all the swords around him? It's like, what opinion do you have that will have your community like this? Hanny, remember this shit, bro? The good old days, man. My God. The fun times we used to have.
Oh, he don't like me.
I miss those days, dude.
You don't like me.
I don't even get to, I don't hang out with anybody like that anymore, really. I don't play games too much with other people too often. DevNado has, I haven't spoken to Dev in a while. I hope he's doing well. But it's been a bit, dude. It's been a bit.
Where's the
I miss playing games with you guys. This warmed my heart earlier when we were talking about Hanny and the seizures you used to have and stuff. It made me feel for the old times, the good old days of chilling out on Destiny. Where this is where Hanny DCs, right? This is where he's been in the game so long that he signs off.
Here, let's see if I can get someone.
Can you guys hear the sound as well? I think you can hear the sound. I can't hear it. Not sure if it's loud or not. I'm just gonna shut the sound off. Good times, man. Good times. All right, that's enough of that. That was a nice stroll down memory lane. I really enjoyed that though. Thanks for all the fun over the years, Hanny. Nick says, a couple of days ago, the thing said, I'm going to keep running to their spawn and die in order to stall them. Quick play is casual. That is the quick playingest thing I've heard all day, dude. Like, it doesn't get more casual than that, you know? Like, if you run all the way to their spawn just to stop them from coming back to the fight, as the thing, or really as any tank, as any character. Like, you can do it on Iron Fist, you can do it on the flanking characters with a lot of mobility and stuff like that. If you're doing that on really any character, I feel like it is, like, just genuinely the most casual thing that you could possibly do. And quick play is fun for that, you know? It's fun for learning new heroes. It's fun for silly times with your buds. It's fun for trying out dumb shit that you don't know if it'll work, but you'll never know if it'll work if you don't try, right? It's always fun for that kind of stuff. It is always a good time when it comes to just like using the game for enjoyment and less about climbing for one rank or for one new achievement or new skin or something like that, you know? Like in ranked in Marvel Rivals, if you climb up past gold, you get certain skins at the end of the competitive season, at the end of last season, and I think you could still do it in this season 1.5. You can get the blood skin for the Invisible Woman, and you're also going to be able to get one like a vampire-themed skin for the Human Torch if you have hit gold in this season. In competitive and Marvel Rivals. Not a lot of games give you stuff like that, although Overwatch had like weapon skins and stuff that you could buy. But quick play is just for fun, man. Just for fun, just treat it like it's fun. It's just a game, and you don't have to be like me, who treats every quick play game like the most important game of my entire life, because I don't know if I'll make it till tomorrow, and this might be the last game that I play ever, you know? So I want to make sure I went hard in the paint, so that when you guys look back, you think, damn, that Moon guy, he did not know how to take his foot off the gas, you know? He was constantly constantly pushing the pace and trying to be the best player on the team, even in the stupidest lobbies possible. You know, but in general, if you just play the game and you just have fun with it, it doesn't have to be as serious as everybody makes it out to be. And I think that's going to do it for today's show. Going to sign off a little bit earlier today than I normally would, since it is Friday. I'm going to go pick my kid up. I'm going to grab myself some lunch. And yesterday for lunch, I had a meatball sub, and I haven't had a meatball sub in a hot minute. It was like, I don't know, maybe a year-ish since the last time I went and had one. It was really good. I'm thinking about getting another one today, just because I enjoyed it so much. But, wait, I need to make sure that you guys can hear this. Okay, you can. Good. Yeah, so, like, I had a lot of fun talking today. I wanted to do kind of a different show than I normally do. Mostly, we do gameplay here. So if you guys, if you enjoyed the yapping type of experience, you guys let me know here. And like I said earlier, if you would like to have your gameplay reviewed here on the show, after this, later on today, I will set up a Marvel Rivals gameplay review section in the Discord, which again, I'm going to post the Discord link right here. If you guys haven't joined the Dude No Way Gaming Discord, you can do so now. And you can post your replay codes into the Discord section, and if I get a whole bunch of them, I'll try and do like one a day or one every couple of days, just so that everybody's getting a fair shake. Send me the ones, if you want advice, send me games where you don't do well. If you just want to show off how well you did, send me those games and I'll talk about how good you did. And I think, like, in general, that could be a fun little bit of content to be had there as well. I'm just gonna back it up a little bit here. And then I also want to talk about our main channels here. If you guys have not yet seen my breakdown of the Season 1.5 patch notes over on the Dude No Way Gaming channel, make sure you go and check that out. That's our main channel here on YouTube. And I will be putting out, I'm working on a script for another video. I'm going to be putting that out soon. I'm going to probably turn some of today's topics into a video or two that I can upload over the next few days while I finish writing the script, recording, and creating the other video that I am currently working on. No spoilers, but it's going to be much more put together than the stream content that you're currently watching. So if you like actual, like, YouTube videos that are made like they were meant to be watched instead of just me talking to a camera or playing games talking to the camera, then that will be a good place for you to check that out. I'll let you guys know when it's ready, but I hope you will enjoy it, and I hope you'll enjoy that type of content as well. If you are watching this over on Twitch, don't forget to check us out on the Dude No Way live channel over on YouTube. That is where all of our VODs are saved forever, and I am live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, putting on these shows, doing topics around Marvel Rivals, one game or another. With that, that's going to be it for me for this week. I will see you guys all on Monday. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I'm Moonchild of Dude No Way, and I will catch you in the next stream. Take care.